We are on the air, my friend. We are on the air. I thought. Are we on the air? Wait. Okay, we're on the air. Cool.
First
So,
face cam stream, by the way, with me in it.
yeah, Cole actually has a face cam this time. So, intro. Welcome back, Insomniacs, to the Sporadic Podcast. My name is Vance, and I'm joined by my lovely buddy Cole.
Sigh or sigh, if you wish.
This is a personal thing.
Mm.
No. So today's
I got a
podcast.
plug. You have to respect it. Okay?
No, you're good. You're good. Plug. I'll plug you too. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh,
Um,
what do you even pay me for?
I don't know. Whoa, we are dropping frames like crazy. What is happening? Hold on. What is happening? Hold on. Stream's gonna get cut for a second. Hold on. Wait a minute. What? Wait. Hold on. How do I do the thing where like I pause the stream for a second? Wait. Why are we losing so many? Why are we losing so many frames? Is it the background? Hold on. Let me. There's no way that's causing problems, right? So I just stop that. That's not the right background thing. Why is it? Why is that the one background thing that's not stopping? What the hell?
Technical difficulties.
Stop. We're still losing frames. What the hell is happening? Why is my computer suddenly not wanting to keep frames going?
I blame him.
It could be his fault. Hold on.
It is. I think it is. Look at those murderous eyes. I love the plush piece so top heavy. I could not get him to stand. Oh crap. Ugh. I told him the X little one.
We are losing frames. Dude, this is really concerning.
Is it a YouTube thing? Or?
I don't know. It's going down. Okay. I think I fixed it. Okay, we're good. We're good. Sorry about that. Let's redo that
Right.
intro. We're good. All right. Welcome back, Insomniacs, to the Sporadic Podcast. My name is Vance, and I'm joined by my lovely friend Cole.
Also known as Psy.
Yeah, Sai. Sorry about those technical difficulties just a second ago. I don't know why my computer did not like what was going on. But
Okay.
this is the second episode of the Sporadicast, our very sporadic podcast, if you couldn't tell. The last one was.
Hopefully, we're finally getting a schedule.
There is no such thing as a schedule with this. The last episode was like what, a year ago. And I think we were still talking about the Switch in some way, right? Yeah, the MIG Switch cart, the little flash cart. Yeah. But
viewers, I'm gonna kick his ass, make him do more.
But you're the one who never wants to do it, motherfucker.
You take your blame.
Yeah, who's the one who like for the past week is like, yeah, I want to do the podcast, and then every time I'm like, hey, you want to do the podcast? And you're like, yeah, sure.
I threw up.
So
You're lucky I can go after this.
so real quick, 20 subs. You see that number right there? You see that number right there in the back? That's 20 subs. I want to thank you guys so much for that. That's a goal of mine hit. And I mean, videos are doing great. That streamer item video is just a banger. I think that's just a great video. It's just a banger video.
Oh, yeah.
Key card's doing good. So hopefully here's to more in the future. Let's just say that. We're gonna shoot for 30 subs. If we can. Why do you disconnect now? You've been fine this whole time. God damn it. Don't look at that. It's my Wi-Fi. You're not allowed to look at that.
Oh, look at me. I know I'm not beautiful. I was gonna say I'm handsome, beautiful, something, but that's a lie. You know it, and I know it.
Okay.
Look at Mudkip.
Yeah, look at Evie. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So, 20 subs. The next goal is 30. Let's try to get to 30 subs. I'm gonna try to do more consistent uploads. I just need to restructure myself and figure out stuff. College has been kind of hard, but we're trucking along. So, yeah. And hopefully
maybe here in another week or two, another podcast. Huh?
Hopefully, we'll get another episode going up. There's definitely some topics I want to talk about, but for right now, we have topics to talk about right now. The first one being the Switch 2. So it's official this time, boys. We've got the announcement. We're late. Sorry, we're again sporadic. We never said we were going to be the first guys to talk about it. But we're talking about it. So there's that. So just some specs. These are leaked specs. So Nintendo, don't sue me. So we saw in the video when it did the little like enlarging thing. People have done the math. Apparently, it's going to be approximately 30% larger than the original Switch, like just in general, not just the screen being larger with smaller bezels or anything. And that's a pretty chunky boy. If anything, that's gonna be.
I like it. I like having a nice big screen.
Yeah. So it like not just the screen. Now, what everyone's concerned about is that like it's not going to be an OLED screen. So like we got the Switch OLED, right? And we're going to go back to an LCD screen. So everybody's kind of upset about that. But it makes sense to me because like they want to keep it affordable. I think the Switch 2 is going to be about the same price as a Switch OLED. So like it'll probably be like $350, maybe $400.
I'm cool with that, especially if like as we're about to get into. I mean, it's probably going to be more centered around being docked anyway.
That's probably for battery life, if we'll be honest. Because if we move on to the specs, it's going to have an NVIDIA Tegra T239 processor. This is from the same source that leaked the fact that we were going to get the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal the day it happened. So the same guy who said the Switch 2 reveal is going to happen, it happened. The same guy said, like, these are the specs for it. So that processor will put it around, I believe this is in handheld mode. My light just died. We took two damn.
You okay?
It's fine. Whatever. The hell with it. I'm still visible on everything, I guess. So whatever. To hell with it. Mood lighting. Fuck it. I'm glad I have my little light strip up here. So in handheld mode, supposedly it'll be about PS4 level. What the fuck was that? My fucking G Fuel sticker. Sorry. It'll be around PS4, Xbox One level, I think, in handheld mode, running at about 720p resolution. But when you dock it, it should probably, because it's an NVIDIA chip, should be able to upscale, probably with DLSS or something, or maybe just raw power, straight to 4K. So, like, that's kind of impressive. Like, if you have a 4K TV, which is expensive as fuck, that's cool, I guess. But
yeah, and like, I mean, as we said earlier, just before the podcast, supposedly that even undocked, that should put it at supposedly about PS4 level, Xbox One, I think you've said, and because like heck, on Scarlet and Violet, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I hate trashing on it, but if you're going to try to make these new age games, you have to compensate with new age tech.
yeah.
But like in Scarlet and Violet, I could count the frames one by one. Not even like, oh, that's probably 30 frames per second. No, I could literally just 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's just terrible. And like I hope that means that they can go back to games like that and improve upon that. Just because I don't know if like that's what they have the game just set to,
Right.
or if that's something to where that can legitimately just change just by keep putting in a more powerful system. And I don't know if you already said it or not, but I do believe you said that it should have backwards compatibility, right?
I was about to mention that. So backwards compatibility. So that's a good thing. They're probably going to do what they did with the 3DS and like DS, where like I can actually show this right now, where the 3DS is actual, like, if we try to, I don't really have the light for it. Okay, well, whatever. So the 3DS can run DS carts, like here's Soul Silver. But the way it does that is the slot that actually has the chip in it is just slightly bigger for 3DS games. So like it's got like an extra notch for reading the games and stuff. So they're probably going to do something similar with that. And of course your downloaded games can just be downloaded. But like they're probably just going to do that where they just slightly make the port just a little bigger, probably add like an extra notch for the 3DS games. And just when you slot it in there, it'll say if it's a 3D or a Switch or a Switch 2 game. I'm sure.
Which which I was about to say. And the thing is that also supposedly, I've always wanted this. I've talked about this forever. How I've always wanted it to where obviously on the go the Switch isn't going to be as like powerful as it would be at home. Obviously, because you want it to be to go. You want it to have battery life. You want it to be able to sustain itself and not turn into a machine of lava. You know,
Yeah,
having a PS4 in your lap, basically.
right.
But supposedly they're doing what I've been asking for forever now, ever since even the Switch One came out, where whenever you have it at home, you have it docked. I don't know exactly how they plan to do it, if what mechanisms they're going to put inside the actual dock to make this happen. But whenever it is docked, it is a proper console. It's able to run much better and run things at much higher quality. And I'm all for it because I mean, yeah, you use it on the go, but whenever you really just want to sit down and enjoy a game, especially because I feel like this would bring back a little bit of charm to Nintendo, you are able to enjoy these higher fidelity games, especially these really big games like Breath of the Wild
Keep
or
talking.
Tears of the Kingdom, something like that. It's really nice to have that ability to make that game just so much greater than what it already is. I mean, whether that's visually or just quality, like quality of life alone, it's going to be nice to be able to increase that quality of life just by putting it in a dock. And if anything, I like having it on a bigger screen
Yeah.
anyway, so I usually play on dock anyway.
I mean,
Heck, even
already
Shiny.
already the Switch does that. It allows itself more current when it's docked, which does help performance, but when a game like Scarlet and Violet is so unoptimized, it doesn't help enough. Like it doesn't give it enough but like
There's
it's
2 more frames.
yeah, basically. It's like it gives it a little bit more performance, but not enough. Along with that though, we're going to talk about a little bit more of the hardware stuff.
Mm.
There's a better kickstand, which is just already an improvement because I don't know if you've tried to use that goddamn kickstand on the Switch. It just sucks.
The
But
amount of times I've heard that little clack of it coming off.
but with the better kickstand, there's actually 2 USB ports. There's one on top and there's one on the bottom. We saw that in the video.
Really?
Yeah, so like so that means
On the Go ahead.
so that probably means I don't know if one of them is just going to be an output for like uh sound because like some things use USB-C for like headphones and stuff. But I'm hoping what that means is that you have 2 ways to charge it, bottom to dock it and stuff, but when you're in handheld mode, it actually goes to the top. So if you're laying in bed and have it against you, you have the cord going out the top, is what I'm hoping it means, because there are 2 USB ports. There's one on the bottom when you dock it, and there's one on the top. So that's nice.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, already that makes me wonder some of the plans for the future for it because the amount of like additions you could put onto that. I mean, think of it kind of like how they did with their old at-home consoles. You had things you added on to make it better, and
Right.
they've always loved doing that. I mean, heck, look at the Game Boy. You that was all the attachments you could put on
Could
that
make
thing.
the
Left,
it
right.
goes from being a Game Boy to a Game Man in just a few minutes. Yeah, it's insane.
So I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be quite happy if they actually did something like that, where you could attach things to make it better. And I could also see that being as a way of putting like a more attached like battery pack that goes through the top.
Right.
I can imagine that would be a thing.
Um
But I could also see that as which I would kind of hate this because that would mean that there'd probably be a separate price tag on this. But to kind of satisfy the guys who really want games to run at a high whatever you want, graphics or whatever it may be. That also might be a way of putting in another. I don't know if you want to say system, but another mechanism to basically add on to its power. I don't know if that's a thing it
damn it.
might do.
Yeah, like there are like external GPUs, that's a thing. I don't know if
Mm.
they're going to go the fucking extra mile to add an external GPU. Um
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have a separate price tag.
yeah, I'm sure. But another thing, now this one worries me. This part of the hardware worries me. The magnetic Joy-Cons. They're going to be magnetic. They snap in. They have an added functionality where they actually, I guess everybody's been saying that because of how they acted in the trailer, they're going to be able to move like mouse. Like I have like
Oh yeah, that's fine about
yeah,
that.
like I have my original Joy-Cons right here right now. Where like they're going to be able to like be moved like a mouse and stuff. And I guess that's cool, but like I see that as like a pointless feature. But the magnetic
Mm.
Joy-Cons, that's what worries me, cuz that little connector in there looks like it could snap off so goddamn easily. Like if you just a two. You suddenly you snap off your Joy-Cons and they never work.
And I mean, already, yeah, especially with the way they plug in there, I'm sure they're gonna try to find some workaround, unless they just want people to buy more and more Joy Cons. I mean, hell, they didn't complain whenever people kept breaking their Joy Cons on the first one.
Yeah.
drift, drift.
Yeah.
I, I, I'm happy. I still like. Only now have I started getting drift in one of my controllers. I have no idea how I've avoided it for so long. Especially with it's not like I've been like terribly nice to them, but I guess they've been terribly nice to me. But yeah, that does concern me because already, even just with the snap in they have, I mean, it already wears on controllers a good bit, and just making that such a overly simple design just seems a little crude and kind of out of place for what they're trying to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, literally all you gotta do is one little or
Yeah.
really any
Then
movement.
like, and I'm sure the thing will stop it from like snapping like wrong like while it's in, but like just imagine like slightly missing it because they're magnets, so they're gonna try to snap in on their own. You miss it, it might just bend the fucking thing and then just fuck it up. You know what I mean?
Now, I guess the one of the remedies to that would be to kind of think you'll kind of get what I mean, like stripper clip it, where
Yeah.
you have a little bit, like you put a little bit more of a dongle, I guess, on the end. Best example of one of you guys, if one of your viewers have Joy-Con on you right now, I'm gonna pull out mine and show you. I mean, there's that little like strip on the outside in which is the connector, basically.
Yeah.
I guess the remedy to that would be make that long enough to where, and maybe even put it at like a jagged, like a edge, basically, to where it can only snap in once it goes in with a specific
Yeah,
orientation.
like just like how these do, where like until you line up the rail, they can't go in any other way. And hell, if you even if you put them backwards, they can technically go on backwards if you
Mm.
force them. But like that, it's enough feedback to be like, hey, this is wrong, and then you put it in right, and then once they're lined up, they just go in and they're just there.
But the secondary issue to that, and I'm cool with that because I do like the idea of making it more sturdy. If anything, that makes it connect better and make it less of a janky piece of crap.
Yeah,
But the problem with that is whenever you hold it outside of within the console, because now you also have to consider being handheld, or if you're playing two player. If you have such a profound connection, then that's obviously not going to be great in handheld.
well
So I guess
the
I
the
know there's the little slider thing you can get for these controllers,
well yeah,
even.
like there's
So
these
I don't know if they do that again.
but the little like the little the nub that like acts as the
Mm.
connector is on the switch. So like it's sticking out of the switch. There's an indent on the controller, but then that brings the problem of, well, if that connector breaks, now your switch can just never have a Joy-Con connected to it. Is the
Mm.
problem?
And I guess the other concern I have, well, actually, I'll get back to that in a second. I will say though, actually, okay, I'll get back to that. Sorry, I had a weird thought come to me, but I will say, to be fair to them, it's not like I really play with the Joy Cons in single Joy-Con mode usually. Anyway, if I have two sets of Joy Cons, I'm playing with two people. I'm usually going to give both people, two sets. Yeah, the full controller basically. To be fair, because my hands are so shaky and so janky that I can't do that little thing
Yeah.
anyway. So, to be fair, but I will
Um,
say, if I'm correct, the actual USB plug-in is inside the actual Switch, right?
the little
The
USB ports, yeah, they're on the Switch.
yeah, UFC. It's not the controller that connects into. So, I guess that does mean you can now theoretically charge your Joy Cons externally. You don't have to plug it in to charge
Well,
it.
they
You can.
look like uh, proprietary connector. So like it doesn't
Mm,
look. It's not like a USB connector. It's like a proprietary connector. It's not a
mm,
USB-C or anything. There's two USB-C ports, like one on bottom and like these kind of like USB-Cs and stuff, like these on the top and bottom, like the female versions of these to plug in.
mm.
Like, but the ones the Joy-Cons connect to, they look like a proprietary
Now,
connector. Like yeah,
okay.
they're male, they go out this way, but they're not a USB plug. They're their
Mm.
own kind of plug. That's what they look like.
Oh, you don't think they're USB-C?
I don't think so. No.
Uh, well, I guess that would make sense if they aren't, but I kind of hope they are, because then that does actually mean you can just like have multiple sets of controllers charging at once, and that would be kind of nice.
Yeah. But
Granted, I don't know with how those controllers are, with how small they are. I
well,
don't know if you'd want to plug them
you can
into.
kind of do that already, where like not
Mm,
this one that I have, because this is the one that just comes with the Switch. There's a version of this little grip that they have where it charges too. Like you can plug it in, and then it has like a battery pack on it, and so when you slot your Joy-Cons in, they charge. I wouldn't
mm,
see them. I imagine they wouldn't do something similar, or you could get the Pro controller, which has its own charger too. So like I don't think losing your like breaking that connector will be a big problem, because there's gonna be other ways to connect your Joy-Cons, or just get a Pro controller and use that.
mm.
But like, and I'm sure it'll be touchscreen like the normal Switch is, so you'll be able to like maneuver the Switch. Um, but like, I worry that the
Mm.
Joy-Cons will break especially in the hands of children. They're gonna
Oh
break
yeah.
so easily.
I,
um,
and I wonder, I wonder how they're actually gonna make one of those little controller things like you got there, because they
they'll
go in that way, they don't slot
they'll
in,
probably
so
just
you
just
definitely.
take off the
Uh,
grips, and like I saw like one was like 3D printed like this. They'll just snap off the grips and just have this little center
mm.
part and just go in. Probably
Okay.
that's probably
Yeah,
how
I
they're
was just
gonna do
about
it.
to say, because you need a little bit of a groove to be able to
Because
snap
well, it
that
looks like they're
in.
making the Joy-Cons much more grippy and like almost like Steam Deck esque shape. So like,
Which I'm cool with.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, my
And then
grippers,
the
I get they
final,
made to just in the hands of children, but my grippers are not made for that.
but the
Alright.
final little thing is it's gonna have another micro SD slot. I
Mm.
believe under the kickstand, just like the last one does, just like the normal Switch. You can't see
I
my Switch right there, but it's literally right there.
I ain't even gonna lie to you, Chief. The second I get the Switch 2, my first Switch, that is, I'm not getting a new one. I'm just gonna pop that SD out of there and probably pop it in that. It's
This is
like,
the SD that I used to mod my 3DS. It came with it. I replaced it later because this is not enough space. I had to get a bigger one for the 3DS, but 2DS. Sorry, semantics. But like it, these are not expensive.
mm.
They're not a big deal.
They're not expensive.
Well,
I was just saying,
I guess
like,
they're micro
because I'm
SD,
probably.
so they're technically
Mm,
the little baby one inside of these, but like they're not
yeah.
expensive.
Either way,
Um,
I'm probably just gonna pop the one out I got on my normal Switch and put it
Especially
on
if
the
all of
Switch.
your games are downloaded on it too, and there's
Yeah.
backwards compat. Like if you have digital games and there's backwards compatibility, there's no reason not to just go and just switch them.
Honestly, actually, thought I had something I would honestly probably do, especially depending on like how nice they make it. Because I do hope they go more on the quality side with this. Depending on how nice they make it, honestly, what I would consider doing is at that point make your Switch One your travel Switch, and then just completely make your Switch Two a at home console. Because I mean, anyone who gets the Switch Two, by all means, probably had the Switch One.
Yeah. Um,
So
that's
that's
what most
honestly what
people that's what
they
most
should
people
do.
do with the Switch Lite. Like the Switch Lite is a great console, by the way, because it's just purely handheld. And yes, it's
Hmm.
smaller. It's only a 5.5 inch screen, which is not that big. But like
Hey.
but like for travel purposes, just leave the big Switch at home docked, and then just take the small one with you, and it's so much easier.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you have a Switch Lite or you have a Switch One, I mean, yeah,
Well, yeah,
good. Now it's been upgraded.
it's gonna go from Switch Lite being the handheld travel one, and the Switch One staying at home to the Switch Two stays at home, and the Switch One goes with you.
Because if
Um,
you really need that much quality on the go, then I don't know what
yeah.
to tell you. Like,
Um,
because at most I'd play like maybe Pokemon whenever I'm
yeah, I
on the
would bring
go. And
Pokemon with me or something like that, or like maybe Breath of the Wild. I don't play Breath of the Wild, but like some people would play Breath of the Wild or something, or like Tears of the Kingdom or whatever.
like, I
Um,
don't feel like I'm going to be playing a game that needs that much. Like, speaking of which, they just released. Well, I say just, but they released Apex on the Switch. It's like, are you really going to be playing a high fidelity multiplayer game like on the go?
that's
If you
my
are, then
that's my
don't.
biggest thing about the Switch is like I don't understand people who buy like Skyrim or like any or Witcher or like anything else on the Switch other than just Nintendo's first party games. Like the Switch is
Mm,
great for Nintendo's games. Why would you
I-
buy anything else? Like when you have the option of like a console, like if it's your only thing, yeah, I get it. But like if you have a PS4 or a PC or a PS5 or an Xbox One or an Xbox
Heck,
Series,
even a decent laptop, you can still
yeah,
run
even
Skyrim. I
yeah,
have no idea how my little laptop runs Skyrim. I've had this conversation with Fans like 100 times. By the way, I have to talk about this just for a second. I have so many mods on there, and I fully expected the first time I booted up my Skyrim, and heck, even by itself, I was surprised it was running just fine. But I was fully expecting to load up my Skyrim. My laptop was just going to explode. Like I thought I just made IED.
yeah, like
And it did. Yeah, I like literally like 2-second loading screens, which is better than my PS5. I don't know how.
but like yeah, like if you have like anything slightly better than the Switch, it will always be a better thing. Like Steam Deck, I understand because the Steam Deck is your Steam library on the go. That is a big deal. You know what I mean? But like the Switch, if you would take out Nintendo's exclusive like games and just take like The Witcher 3, why would I ever play The Witcher 3 on the Switch? Even on the go thing, whatever. Cloud streaming's a thing, by the way. Fucking like if I'm gonna go somewhere, I'm gonna have Wi-Fi. I might as well just cloud stream it. But like, why would I, instead of playing it on my PS5 where the game looks stunning and gorgeous and beautiful, running at 160 FPS, or on my PC where the game looks even better, running at 120 FPS? Why would I go to Play-Doh Land and play it at like 30 FPS on Play-Doh Land?
I remember I wanted to strangle my uncle whenever he got me MK11 on the Switch.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like if it's your only console, I get you got to do what you got to do, but like the Switch is not good for anything other than Nintendo's hardware. Like I don't like Nintendo as a company. Nintendo as a company is scummy as shit. Um, that's not podcast topics, but if you've been looking into their things, there's some stuff going on with Nintendo that is not
the
okay.
Evils of Mario.
Number 15.
Like, go into like a Wendigoon like debate about it.
But there's not a debate. It's some sketchy shit going on at Nintendo. Look into it. It's but that's not what we're talking about today. But like Nintendo as a company sucks. But like their consoles are great. I have a Game Boy Advanced SP. I have a DS Lite. Thank you. I have a DSi. I have a 2DS. I have like I've bought into the Nintendo like handheld ecosystem, right? I love the consoles. I love the games. Nintendo as a company sucks. It's
and truthfully, like you were saying, why are they doing second party or third party games? I mean, at most, I like truthfully, I believe the best direction Nintendo can probably go is in-house games. Obviously, Nintendo brand, keep it almost exclusively that, and rather than try to go to something like Apex or why are you doing that?
Well, like,
what you really need to try is go into indie games. I mean, I think indie games would thrive on the Switch. Like,
and
I
they
think
do.
they need to be, they do, and I think that's where they need to get the cornerstone of the market, because like those indie games, before they even get the chance to maybe end up on these more complex consoles and these companies like Sony and stuff, Nintendo as a competitor needs to just say, hey, we'll give you a really good deal if you put it on the Switch, because now someone has a little, like an 8-bit game that's an indie game on the Switch, which is perfect for its character. It's like
a good example, Stardew
a
Valley. Stardew Valley. I have not bought Stardew Valley yet. I don't want to buy Stardew Valley unless it's on the Switch, because I think that's the best way to play that game. It probably is how it's going to end up being. But like now with the Switch 2, if it's going to be PS4 handheld level, then maybe I could understand. But right now with the Switch 1, and like obviously Nintendo's going to put the third-party games on there. I don't blame Nintendo for putting Witcher 3 or Skyrim on the fucking store. But like the people buying it, I don't understand why you buy it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like,
I mean,
sure, it may be cheaper. It may
not
be
Tom Holland. Skyrim creator.
Todd Howard.
Tom Howard.
Todd Howard.
Todd Howard. I'm sorry, Tom Holland. Sorry to invoke you,
but
Todd Howard.
We've just to wrap up the Switch 2 thing.
Yeah,
is it going to be good enough? Like, will it be a worthy successor to the Switch if the leaks are true? Yeah, well, for hands fucking down. And like anyone who's like, oh, but can it compete with the Steam Deck? No, No, it can't.
Yeah.
It's not what it's supposed to do.
And that's what I was about to say. I mean, now that they have legitimate competitors, heck, and even surprisingly, Sony has their hand in that.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, the PlayStation Portal, another topic, maybe. PlayStation Portal, way fucking better than I thought it was. It actually has, like, it's way more impressive than I thought it was. But, like, the Steam Deck or, like, the ROG Ally or something, they're not meant to be a competitor to the Switch. They are PC competitors. They are combating with PC consoles and meant to be a portable PC. They're a different thing. They're fighting with each other. The Switch is still in a league of its own. It's still by itself. It is a portable console, not a portable PC. It's still following the console rule of like it just works out of the box. You know what I mean? You take it out, it just works. Portable PCs, you have Steam OS, which is Linux, and if you want to try to mod it or anything like that, you have to understand how Linux works, and Linux is complicated as fuck sometimes. Steam OS is pretty dumbed down, but like Linux is complicated. ROG Ally is a Windows handheld. Windows is great for PCs, not so good on handhelds. Like it's a whole thing, but will it be good enough? Yeah, it's probably gonna be good enough. Let's be honest. Let's not kid ourselves here. It's gonna be good. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna buy it. But with that, I think Cole has something to talk to about.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. But it's my second now. Yay! All right, something I really want to touch on is some of the crazy, like just but music productions and performances that have been going on between like anime and a lot of people who have just risen from it. I mean, look at Ado. And Ado, I think technically I think it's Ado, but
Ado. We have an accent. We can get away with it.
Can go with it. That they say it how they say it. We can say how we say it. I'm sure she's not offended. But like, I mean, I'm pretty sure she had a career of her own way before any of her anime performances. But nonetheless, I mean, just look at like One Piece film Red. I mean, one of the biggest songs, and I think anybody who's like into anime music at this point has probably heard it. Heck, I've been introduced to it not too long ago. But Backlight and 7 other songs that were all performed by her in that movie, and it's because her character Uda is, it's her devil fruit ability is singing. And it's just crazy to see these artists either be defined through that, and even to the point where they literally get a character in the show. They are able to define a part of the show entirely through their production and through their performance, and I think that's amazing.
And
especially with how.
Sorry to cut you off. And she had a collab with is it Maroon 5 or is it
Imagine Dragons?
Imagine Dragons. Sorry. I get them swirled together. But yeah, she had a collab with them, and like the song is kind of mid, not gonna lie. But her parts are the best part of the song.
Oh my god! Like, okay, yeah, because that's the thing about Imagine Dragons lately is I
love them.
Miss a lot in my opinion. But in that song, whenever it first started, I kind of liked the beat, and then when they kind of got into the vocals, I was like, this is kind of ass. But then here comes second chorus, Ado just boom right from the left field, and just
The song is called "Take Me to the Beach" by Imagine Dragons. In case you want to listen to it, it's got lovely Ado in it. This is one of her promotional things. I don't know if I'm allowed to use this. I'm gonna use it. If there's a problem, type shit, I guess.
Hey, in that to remedy, in case it is, would like to mention she is going on world tour right now through both, I think, Europe and Mid Americas. Heck, if you're in the South, she'll even be in Fort Worth. We may actually be going.
Yeah, we want to go to that concert. Like legitimately.
I'm not trying to get the tickets right now. It's the whole thing.
But like, yeah, we want to. But if I'm not allowed to use this image, I'm sorry. It's one of her promotional images, for that concert, I think, or not that concert, but that show, tour.
Habana, I think is the name of the tour.
Yeah, for the tour. If I'm not allowed to use it, sorry. I'm not making money off of this, so it's for use. I guess that's probably how that works, right?
I don't know. But I am really impressed by Ado, though. I mean, literally, for her to be able to define not only just I don't know, I guess I could say like the soul of Japan with her music, but to be able to just define herself so much that it's even able to give life and breath to a character in a movie as big as One Piece.
Right.
And even going beyond that to now she can even just be her own artist, and she's always been her own artist. But I'm saying to the point where even here in the West, she's now coming over here. I'm excited, and I hope this also gives rise to. And I think Film Red came out in 2022, I believe, but I hope that she continues to bring more of herself into the pop culture of anime, Japan, everything. Heck, I wouldn't even mind having her in more collabs and in more Western productions because, and I think she's even like stated lately that she's been working on her English, so I hope that bodes well and hope that she's making some moves in the West here. But like now that she's even doing stuff with the Magic Dragon, that really bodes well with me, and that makes me hope that, as I said, I get to see her in so much more because it'd be such a delight. And beyond that, I think speaking of Americas for a second, something I would love to talk about is with about anime intros, outros, and so on, and just in general
Hello,
performances.
viewer. Sorry to cut you off. Hello, viewer. Hi. This is live. I'm sorry. This is not like a recording live show. We're recording it, but like this is not a thing. So feel free to talk in the chat. We're just talking about stuff. Currently talking about modern anime music. It's pretty tight. So for first
And yeah, but I said if for those in the know, Kaiju number 8, by the way, anime. But the the intro and the outro hit me by such
well,
a
that's
surprise because oh, there it is. Yeah, it's in the kitchen.
yeah.
But but as I was saying, stop cutting me off, asshole.
I wasn't. I did it silently. Like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Fine. Fuck
As
you.
I was saying, I mean, I was so surprised over there even bringing Western bands into it. And as I said with Ada, I hope this bodes well and means more collaboration rather than anime just being per se like a Japanese thing. It's been spreading out. I mean, heck, even look at the original studios that did things like Seven Deadly Sins. They were not Japanese based, I believe. Was done in Switzerland, Sweden, something like that. I don't know. Something like that. Anyway, back to what I was saying. But in Kaiju number 8, the intro, "Abyss" by Youngblood. That hits so
The
hard. Whenever that came on,
especially with the visuals. Like that song by itself is really good, but like when you're looking at the intro visuals and the beats are on time and stuff, it's so good. It's so good.
I feel like you know what makes me feel like I feel like a little kid like watching like Pacific Rim whenever I see it
Right.
come out.
It because it's Pacific Rim is about fighting kaijus, and so when you get a similar thing, it's like you know it's
You see all the the chemical reactions in the backgrounds, the DNA, cortexes and everything. You just
oh,
and please save my life, and it goes so good. And as I said, see Youngblood of all people, it's like
and
and
there
like One Republic, which I'm about to talk about. That I could see it, not that I expected it, but I could see it. But wow, that's such a surprising branch out that I never expected anime to take the leap to do.
right.
And I'm happy that they're really trying to connect with the Western audience because I want anime and games and everything just to be a thing where no matter where you're from, no matter your origin, you can come together about it because we all love it. I mean, how could you not?
And
And yeah, good.
uh
No, go ahead.
the funny thing about that too is like not even the people in the production knew how banger of a song that was going to be because we went to Fan Expo Dallas, which was the first convention that the Kaiju number 8 crew had been at. It's actually what got me to watch the show was going to that panel and listening to them.
I was the nerd that wanted to see it.
Oh, we lost a viewer. Oh, sad. It's okay. This will be a video. But like
Make sure.
yeah, the first question that the chick asked when the panel started was like, how does it feel to have like the top most like uh the biggest intro and outro in anime right now, like the biggest, well known. Now they would later get surpassed by Dan Dan, but it's like I
Yeah, we'll
um
get to that here in a second.
yeah, but so like Kaiju number 8 crew is awesome. Like Alejandro Saab is Kaiju number 9. He's tight. I don't remember Kafka's voice actor.
Alex.
Alex.
Yeah, that whole time, just apparently in all like promotionals and a lot of the parties they did together whenever they were celebrating the releases of the episodes and once they're done with voice recordings, like Alex apparently he just didn't show up to like any of the things.
Yeah,
So like the whole time we're just making fun of him, like, oh, Alex, you asshole.
oh yeah, we got to sit in the front row, and as we were sitting there, I got stabbed.
Oh yeah, I was about to
Yeah,
mention that.
yeah, no, we bought katanas. I don't have mine. Is yours is if yours is in the background, cool. Mine's just off camera right there in the corner. But yeah, they took my katana and they stabbed me with it. But he's a
Oh,
Bleach fan. That's why he took mine. So, if you couldn't tell, I'm a Bleach fan. It's down there.
you
That's
got
an
you got you
autograph by
one
Johnny
person.
Young Bosch. That's my biggest flex, by the way. You get to see it on camera. It's an autograph from Johnny Young Bosch. Suck my dick. I'm just saying.
I forget who it was, but I believe he was a voice actor on Bleach anyway. But
Yeah, he had a part in Bleach too.
yeah, he was a cool guy. But move on to this just for a second and continue the
Of course.
panel thing in a second because I love talking about that panel. It was great. But in the second song from Kaiju Number 8, the outro, Nobody by One Republic. Oh,
It
that was
in,
also so nobody,
it
nobody, nobody.
embodies One Republic. Like that is like the most One Republic song ever.
I've always said this. One Republic never misses. I mean, I can't think of one Republic song like one Republic song that I've
Oh, damn. Sorry. Our mics like synced up perfectly there for a second. They changed to the same color like at the same time. It just I was like, did anybody see that?
I just had to fondle it for a second.
Oh yeah, it's fine. It's fine. My bad. My bad.
I can't think of like one Republic song that I've like just been it's kind of mid. I mean, heck, everybody knows. I mean, there's not one person, and I think in all of America who probably has not heard them because I mean, heck, everybody's heard Counting Stars.
Yeah.
But I think that was such a amazing choice for them to pick, especially for that to be even used in the Japanese version of the show. Because I, if you told me about it, I would have fully expected that. Because there is a lot of Japanese pride in a lot of these productions, and I don't blame them. That makes sense. A lot of this is, with Japanese founded, and I don't blame them. But back to what I was saying, I'm happy that we're starting to get the conglomerates. But but it's crazy to see that these, American songs are able to be shared with now the Japanese audience through something that both us and them are going to be loving from start to finish. And well, it kind of makes me laugh because whenever we sing along to their songs, we have no idea what it's saying. And now
But they
it's
do the same thing. They've like I've showed you a clip of like have I ever showed you the clip? I've talked about it
it's
where
amazing.
it's like a Smash player who's doing like a montage and he has like a Taylor Swift song as his montage thing because it's a Japanese dude who doesn't speak English hears a song that he just likes and so he puts it on a montage. It's the same thing that we do where we just hear a Japanese song that we like and we put it on a montage. It's funny.
Oh
It's
yeah, like when we go to that Ado concert, as assuming we do,
we
I'm
probably
sure
won't understand most of the song that
we're
she's
gonna
singing.
be vibing, and then she's going to like say like the one sentence in the song. We're gonna be like, we're gonna sing that
And
part,
we're
and then the
not
rest
supposed to, and everyone's just
it's all on you.
disowned on you. That's racist. We can't say that.
That's fine. But
but
I'm talking about togetherness and stuff here. I can get a pack.
but yeah, talking about the next anime opening that is blown up. You're right. uh
And which is kind of funny, and I kind of find ironic the name of the band in which they chose to do that song. By the way, Creepy Nuts. For those who've watched Dan to Dan, I think that's kind of hilarious
yeah,
because the whole show is all about creepy things and well, nut.
yeah. So
Oh,
I have
the
not
Creepy
watched
Nuts is crazy, man. But
Don to Don. I need
I
to.
don't know if you like it or not.
I don't
I'd
think
say
I
do
would.
this thing.
Uh,
Give it its fair. Give it its fair shot. That's all I say.
I will give it its 2 episodes. I don't think I would like Don to Don, but
Mm.
the show is really funny. I do
Oh,
know that.
oh yeah, I mean, hecking Alex Lee does a character. I don't really. I ain't gonna lie though. I as much as I love Alex Lee, I do not like his character in it. I might save that discussion for later, but like, yeah, I didn't. I forget his name, but he annoys the crap out of me, and I kind of get that's kind of meant to be his point. I mean, he's kind of meant to be the Junpei, the Ryuji for those who partake in Persona. You know what I mean. He's the best friend character that's kind of over the top and very energetic and makes a
Yeah.
lot of like outdated references. I mean, heck, he even goes D-net and he does all that crap, and it does get on my nerves that bit. But compared to, I mean, when I forget when the original manga was made, not that long. But anyway, Creepy Nuts though I find crazy to me because they've been around for a minute, I know it's
I
creepy.
every time, and like I know it's a real
They're
band, and
Japanese
I
bands.
know I know it's a real thing, but every time I just think you're fucking with me. Every time you say that fucking band name, I just can't.
I like to I like to imagine that it's kind of like whenever you get like something in Japanese tattooed on you, you don't know actually
Yeah,
what it says. I like to think that they heard the word creepy and nuts and thought that it was cool. Not knowing what that sounds like. No, I know full well that they know exactly what they're
yes.
doing, but nonetheless, creepy nuts.
God damn you. um,
They've been getting a lot of traction lately. I know they were established beforehand, but uh the I think their first like major anime performance was you guys can correct me later on if I'm wrong, but I believe was called The Night, where they did two of the show's intros and one outro, I believe. And I haven't listened to them personally. I need to, but they apparently that just the second people heard that a lot of production companies gave them a lot of requests, I believe, and then within that year and a couple after, I think 2023 and 2024 was one of their biggest years. I mean, in 2024 alone, I mean they had Roani, Kenshin, Marshall, Magic and Muscle, and obviously Dan to Dan. And by the way, anybody's listened to Michelle, Marshall, I think is how you pronounce it, then you'll know that no matter the Creepy Nuts song, it just gets stuck in your head. It's just I stop.
'cause I don't know what you're talking
Not
about.
that funny.
I'm not doing. I don't know
Not
what
that
you're talking
funny.
about. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing a goddamn thing.
Come on, it's not as bad as Ninja Sex Party. Come
Ninja
on.
Sex Party goes hard though. All right.
It did go hard. No, I'm just saying, naming, man, I love it.
I
But
love the band from
I
us. What
mean,
is it? Scott Pilgrim versus the World. We are Sex Bomb. I
oh
think
yeah,
is what. Or is it Sex Bomb? I don't remember if it's Sex Bomb or not. I think
I
it's.
don't know a thing
You've
about
never
Scott Pilgrim.
watched Scott Pilgrim. I forget about that.
Not once. Yeah, no, it's never been something that's been in my radar. I know it's a thing, but I don't know anything beyond that.
Yeah.
I know of like three characters. Obviously Scott, Ramona Flowers, and like Kim Pine. That's all I know.
Kim is
And
funny.
apparently like half the characters like bisexual and have slept with each other, and that's like half the drama of the show, I think.
Not well. I think the comic, but the movie it's played for laughs. It's like
Well, yeah, the live action movie, I'm sure.
the live action movie. I That's my only experience with Scott Pilgrim versus the World and the video game. I played that when I was younger.
I
The
don't know
the
nothing about good.
the movie is great. Like
Hmm.
that is all by itself. It's just fucking hilarious. It's probably one of the best video game movies ever.
And
And
now there's the animated series on Netflix.
yeah,
I think it's Netflix.
I don't know anything about that. I know it's using the art style from the comics and the video game for a long time. This is why the Scott Pilgrim video game was so like interesting. Because for a long time it was delisted. Like you couldn't download it, you couldn't get it. There were so little disc copies, you could barely find it, and if you did find it, they were super expensive. Like for a long time it was delisted. So when it eventually came back up, I think with the start with the start of the show, um, that's why it was a big deal for a little while because it was like, oh my god, the game is up again. Like we have access to the game again. It's a big deal because that was like
Hmm.
back in like Xbox 360 days, and it got delisted like midway through the Xbox 360 life cycle, and it just has not come back up until just recently. So I say recently,
Which,
like a year ago, but you know,
but back to what I was saying about creepy nuts. Creepy nuts, creepy nuts, creepy nuts, creepy nuts. Come
stop
on,
whispering creepy nuts in
but
my ear. You made us lose a viewer.
anyway, uh, I'm really impressed by them. I really am, and it makes me excited to see them in the future because they have such an interesting ability of like obviously most of the lyrics aren't in English, so I mean I probably can't like give good comparisons, I suppose, because they're two different things. But they're very intelligent with how they do their lyrics. I mean, heck, watch a video that does a breakdown on the Dan to Dan intro, and between how they get a lot of the how they actually get a lot of the sounds for that is really interesting because like in the sound that it makes, which sounds like a Pikmin. That's actually from a voice recording of a really old like English film. And I forget exactly what it says, but it's really sped up to make that little like off-putting creepy sound. It
Mm.
has a little extra thing put on it. But like chips and fries, I don't know, something like that. But nonetheless, they are very creative and they really impressed me and surprised me with how smart they are with with how they do their lyrics. I mean, it's like another example, Dan. Whenever they go krabada krabada krabada,
Yeah.
they're saying the number 4 in Japanese, which actually sounds a lot like the word death,
Yes.
and that's like the whole point because the whole show is centered around ghosts and aliens. And it's crazy. You can do a whole in-depth analysis on all of them. I'm not gonna be able to have the ability to do that right now. I would have to make a whole separate thing and study it a whole bunch
Yeah.
ahead of time. But this is a podcast. I'm not doing that.
We're just talking. We're just talking.
I'm touching it lightly, and you can do your own research.
Yeah, that's what we encourage you to do. We talk about topics, give you some little stuff, do the rest on your own.
And do yourself a favor and do not look up, if you haven't heard it yet, do not look up the intro music to the Marshall Magic and Muscle anime, because it will get stuck in your head so quick.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, are there any other bands or anything like that in modern anime music?
There's plenty. There's plenty, and there's probably a lot that by name a lot of people don't actually know. They probably should. There's so many that you can talk about. I'm sure you've had like intros from your favorite anime that you could probably splooge over. I mean, you probably, but
Ranbu no Melody. That the band, I don't remember the name of the band right now, but Ranbu no Melody. They are all over the place. Their band is in Bleach. They're in Full Metal Alchemist. They're in, I think, a few Naruto seasons. They're in fucking. They are all over the place in like back then. But that band, they are all over the place.
But nonetheless, kind of in closing of the topic, I just love the sound between sound design, between just the feeling it gives you in a lot of these anime. It's just so cool seeing these productions give life to this music and the music giving life to what they're in. It's a little bit of art imitates life, life imitates art, that whole thing. And it's crazy seeing how they both just have such a synergy. I mean, back to Kaiju 8, number 8, just for a second. Oh my god, whenever whenever Kafka's like music starts playing and you feel it now, and
I
oh
believe,
yeah.
yeah, I believe that anime is like the peak form of viewing a manga, or like, because you get this, especially if it's done really well, then you have your bad moments like Seven Deadly Sins. Like you have your bad moments, but when you get these coagulations of like art director, or like a really good art director, a really good sound director, like artists, sounds, everything, and you get the perfect combination of voices, music, sounds, visuals, everything, it defines how that is supposed to look. And that's why a lot of mangaka love their anime, because it's exactly how they want you to feel. They have to do so much work. Dragon Ball, biggest example. There are so many like frames in the Dragon Ball manga that give you that sense of like when Vegeta's feeling on top, there's a frame where like when Vegeta's feeling better than Frieza in their fight, he's framed above Frieza. Like he's put above Frieza intentionally, like where it looks like he's standing over Frieza. That's the point. You can't get some of those frames in anime, so they have to compensate by the voice acting and the sounds and what they can give you. And
It's art, man.
yeah, it's art and it's awesome. It's like, it's just,
And I
I
mean,
have a
heck,
hair in my mouth. Sorry.
perfect example is something you split about. We were for the life of us trying to find it the other day, but that moment in Bleach where Aizen and Ichigo are having a fight, and Ichigo's theme music is playing, and then immediately gets cut right into Aizen's as he flips the table.
Yeah,
Oh my
like,
gosh!
yeah, Ichigo's theme starts to playing as, you think it's a main character moment. He's going to stand up against the odds, and he goes to attack, and Aizen catches his sword with one hand and cuts the music off. Goes dead silent. Aizen goes, yeah, try again, fucker. And then his music plays. It's such a good representation of that scene, because you're like, oh, this isn't a main character moment. Ichigo's about to get his shit kicked in. And what happens? He gets his shit kicked in. Now we should probably stop talking about Bleach because you're watching it and I don't want to
Yeah,
spoil you. Yeah, so
yeah.
we shouldn't talk about too much of it, but yeah.
Kind of similar to what you're saying about Dragon Ball, where they do all that and how it's because I feel like anime, because there are some people have that argument of which is better, the manga or anime. I believe that anime should, in a sense, always be better than the manga because I believe that should be the intention. It's a reprise. It's the representation of the world that this person was trying to display through writing, but now in multiple forms of visualization. You're able to hear the world. You're able to see it. You're able to feel it. You're able to connect these characters even more now because now they have voice. They have life movement. And I mean, to quote someone, which is funny because if you know the ending, you know the ending. But to quote him, the creator of Attack on Titan, when he made the anime, he said, "This is what I want the manga to be. This is what I have wanted. I want the anime to be the accumulation of all my work and all my effort through the years, and this is how I want to visually represent this to all of you, and this is how I want to show my story." Now, obviously, which I'll give credit to where it's due before I give negatives, but
Right,
the
right.
anime has been beautiful at times. Like, there's been times where you look at certain parts. I mean, especially whenever they get close up on the eyes and stuff, and you see the irises. It's just like, oh my god, the animation has been beautiful. Don't get me started on the sound design. There ain't nobody who hasn't heard the having sex with the bees and the eagles. Like everybody's heard that at this point, and even Asaya, Asami. Everybody's heard the intros to Attack on Titan. Everybody's seen some of the amazing animation to
Right.
it, and it really is just shows how much of an art it is. And granted, he and the production company tortured the people who worked on it. I don't know what I know they're infamous for that. I mean, you have like your different levels of that. Like on this is the terrible end. You have obviously Attack on Titan here in the middle. You probably have like Demon Slayer because they work really hard. I know they do. And then over here you have like Bleach, which really like they try to be like, okay, guys, budget.
Yeah,
We're
like
not torturing you.
Bleach never looks bad, but there's moments where like, okay, we can tell where the budget went. But like it's like
Yeah.
but it never
It,
looks bad. It's just it's divvied out properly. Like it's great.
'Cause believe it or not, Tai Kubo loves his people.
Yeah, Tight Kubo is ecstatic. We're not talking about it this week, maybe next week, I don't know. But like Rebirth of Souls, if you've been keeping up with that game, that is the best fighting game that's going to come out in recent years. Yes, better than Sparking Zero, don't at me. But like Tight Kubo has been playing it since day one, and he's kicking everybody's ass. Because it's
He should
his. It's
totally do competition, man. I still believe he needs to do a viewer, fan competition where you beat me, you get all of the manga and the game for free.
Yeah, dude,
Oh my
I would try so hard on that. I will be covering that day game one. That will be a video. I don't care what my channel goes into, what like Tabor, whatever. That will be a video day one. I'm telling you now. I will
god.
bust my ass to get that video out.
Love it or hate it, JJK. I can just imagine Taikubo having like a Sukino moment, or just, or it's just you fought well, you were strong.
But okay, we've split off on a tangent. We need to we'll
Yeah.
go back.
But
So
nonetheless, I really do want to see just more and more of this anime becoming an art because it's just amazing to see where it goes. I mean, even in animes like Fairy Rain, I mean, it's amazing to see what people can do with this and how they can artistically express these mangas and mangakas and their personalities through this. And I think it's amazing seeing people like Ado, Creepy Nuts, and whoever else just truly bringing that to life and being just another, not a cog, but just another a part of something so big and so amazing.
yeah. But with that, we're gonna move on to the next topic of today's podcast. We spent a good amount of time on it, but then we tangented off into anime talk. So next topic, back to games. An upcoming release, same day as Rebirth of Souls, might I say. AC Shadows. Now, this game,
Oh yeah.
this game. Um,
Fire, fire, fire. We are
it is.
walking on it.
Yeah, we are walking on a controversial topic. I think this game is gonna be good. I know, don't shoot me. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Ubisoft is doing the right things. Like they're enhancing the stealth. They're changing up the stealth. I wish they did parkour better. From what we've seen, parkour is not very good. But Like stealth is going to be great. And these are the guys who did Splinter Cell, Blacklist, Chaos Theory.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot they did
Yeah.
Splinter Cell.
And that was back in like PS2 era, man, original Xbox era, like Xbox 360. And Assassin's Creed, by comparison, Assassin's Creed stealth has always sucked compared to Splinter Cell. You know what I mean? But they're finally bringing in, yeah, Splinter Cell. No, shut. But like Splinter Cell.
No, I agree. That's
like,
not me. Like that's yeah.
Yeah, like but they're changing it. You can go prone now as Nawe, which I don't. Oh, prone, but like, okay. But like, yeah, you can go prone now as Nawe, and like that will let you sneak around and avoid sightline and stuff like that. You can break lights, like at nighttime. The light and dark matters. You can break lights to hide in shadow. Are you good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was just choking on water.
But yeah, you can break sightline now and like hide. Night and day matters. If you can, you may not be able to stealth at day, well, you can at night. Like the stealth is getting enhanced. Weapon versatility. No, a matter of Yasuke being good or not is another thing. But like Yasuke, he has his katana. He has a, I believe it's called a boken, which is Goki's stick.
Oh yeah.
But a big bonk stick. Like he will be mechanically good. Naue has a Karasagama, which is like the chain and ball, like scythe handle, like little scythe blade, and then chained to a ball, like weight and stuff. And that's really fun.
Oh, I would love to see like the grappling of that too. Just imagine pulling somebody's foot in and then her taking the hidden blade and
yeah, and she doesn't have dual hidden blade. She has one hidden blade and a tanto. Like, so that's how she fights. Like, it's interesting, really good mechanics, and they're doing the right thing. The best thing I think they're doing is they're actually doing a good pre-order bonus. They are giving you the first DLC entirely for free. If you pay $70, no matter what bundle you buy, if you pre-order it, $70 at least, you get the first DLC for free. You'll have to pay more for it later if you don't pre-order. That's a good pre-order bonus. We don't know how much it's going to be. It could, if it's like Valhalla's where they're like $40, then yeah, it'll be worth it. But like if they're only like $10-15 and they're like a few levels and whatever, but like still free DLC if you pre-order, you know what I mean? Like it's good. It's good. It has potential. On to the bad.
But now I was gonna say in here lies the issue.
Yasuke himself. So I don't mind Yasuke being in the game. My problem becomes I don't think he should be a playable protagonist. Which I don't think I'm alone in that sentiment. Now, if he was playable in like a few missions here and there, and like you dial up his strength by like 11, and just make the enemies fodder, and just make Yasuke just badass, and you put him in like one.
I think I know the analogy to kind of perfectly explain what you want or going to go into this. Basically, make his segments like what would be like the ATV machine gunner segment. You're just meant to f crap up, you know?
Yeah, like put him in like a big base and just let you fuck everybody up. Like that's what I think Yasuke should have been. Story wise, he's cool, but I think everybody's just gonna play Nawe. I think like I'm just gonna play Nawe. When I go in, her combat's gonna be more difficult, more interesting, more mechanically interesting. She can stealth and parkour. Yasuke can't stealth. He's wearing big samurai armor. He can't stealth. He's too loud. He's so heavy that if he tries to parkour and walk across a rope, the rope will snap under his weight. He's heavy. If he tries to do a leap of faith into the hay bale, he breaks the hay. Like, it breaks his fall, but the hay bale just goes, and then you can't hide in it. Like, you can't stealth or parkour with Yasuke, and you can barely parkour with Nawe. Like, the animations are pretty, but it's a very basic thing. We downgraded from Mirage. Like, Mirage was, like, Valhalla, Origins was okay. Odyssey was a step down. Valhalla was another step down. Mirage stepped us back up to like Origin, and if it kept going, it would have been good. But then Mirage is like back to Valhalla level, or Shadows is back to Valhalla level. Parkour is just not gonna be good. Like, well, it's not saying it's bad. It's just it's not gonna feel very good. At least there's handholds again, so you can't just do what you could do in Odyssey or Valhalla and just walk up to a flat wall and go. and just start climbing and just leaving. But like there's improvements, but it's a downgrade from Mirage, let's be honest. Another thing that I think is stupid is the controversies going on right now
Yeah, and I was
surrounding
about to say that.
surrounding Yasuke himself. There's the people arguing that should he even be in the game, because some people argue his existence, and even if he did exist in real life, he's greatly over exaggerated. Like,
Yeah, we went on a whole thing about this the other day. We studied it for a second, and like the short, like let me give you like the shortest version, and this is using actual documentation. This is about the closest we can get to the actual story of Yosuke. Literally, guy was against his will because he was a slave at the time, of course. Taken by missionaries into Japan. The Japanese lord in which they were visiting went, that guy looks funny. I want him. They bought the guy and started serving that Japanese lord, and he kind of became for that guy kind of like a conversational piece.
yeah, he was
He
like an art
literally
piece
just
to
toted
him.
him around all of town just for people to be like, "Oh my god, that's a 6'4" black man." It's like
Yeah,
he was a conversational piece, and he did eventually get the title. And by the way, this is all within like a month, 2 month period. He did eventually get his own house and title of sword bearer, not samurai, may I state, but sword bearer. And then just a little bit after, literally the entire clan he was serving at that point died. There's a whole ambush fight thing. Well, they were trying to do an ambush. They all died. Then the Lord died in that battle too. One guy survived, and Yosuke. And Yosuke didn't get to keep the sword, by the way. Just thought I'd mention that.
he got to hold a sword for like 2 minutes, and that was it.
You have to hold it.
Um,
Or hold it. But literally after that story, the like our best guess of what happened to him is he just ended up back with the missionaries or some other guys who it I mean, you wish it had more glamour. I wish it had more glamour. And it's still a cool story. It's still a cool rendition. It's just to be.
oop, I think Cole disconnected. I think we he was saying to finish his thought, cool story. Um, AC Shadows can of course take liberties with. His PC crashed. That's funny. AC Shadows can of course take liberties with a story. They've done that before. Like Assassin's Creed has always taken liberties of real characters. But like the people are just complaining about the fact that Yasuke is in the game. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing that he's in the game. I think it's interesting. It's cool. And like story wise, I think it's hinted at, or like he's wearing there's an armor. If you look at the preview for AC Shadows, he's wearing Templar armor. Like there's a big Templar cross just on his chest. Like I'm gonna reiterate that when Cole comes back because it's interesting. So like he could be a Templar or at least aligned with the Templars. It's interesting. But the big thing that people are getting mad about, I will go ahead and actually just wait for Cole. But yeah, hi person in chat. Hi, are you been enjoying the podcast? You've been here for a little bit. I don't know if you're the same person. They've been coming in and out. Like person's been coming in and out of the stream. So if you're the same person, I believe you are. You've been enjoying the stream. Say hi. Welcome to the podcast. Oh, you guys are saying exactly what I'm saying. Hello.
Oh,
Hey, are you back?
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good. We're all good.
Is my camera back?
Yeah, you're good. You're up. You're up.
Okay. Apologies. I got blue screened. Where did I cut out?
um, you were just like it was. I finished your thought for you. It was like over exaggerated, still a cool story, but
Oh, cool
um,
story. Yeah, and I'm cool with the rendition. It's not like Assassin's Creed has ever been like completely
exactly historically accurate.
Yeah, I
They'll
mean,
take
heck,
they'll take liberties. Yeah, you beat up the Pope in AC2. Historical accuracy doesn't fucking matter. But
yeah, that's kind of it's to a point, and I'm cool with them making a hero story because it's meant to be about a legend. It's because it's the legend of Yosuke, not Yosuke,
yeah,
or Yosuke, however you pronounce it.
and
But obviously, in lies the other controversies beyond him. Because I'm cool with him, as you said, he's a cool character, and I love the concept. but I do agree that he probably shouldn't be just a character you can flip between. But the other controversies, may I state, I don't blame this on the dev team. The
So
game and the marketing are two different things. You go ahead.
okay, so yeah, the marketing is one thing. We'll talk about that here in a second. I'm still talking about the in-game controversies. So
Yeah.
one of the big ones is the fact that I'm gonna tackle two in one here. Is that you can walk in to a temple, like a holy temple, and murder nuns for whatever reason, and the fact that that's in the game is a problem, and you don't get punished for it. That's what people are saying. When one, they're not accounting for free agency. Like, you don't have to, you're not, the game isn't telling you kill that nun with a huge bonk stick. You walked in there with Yosuke's huge bonk stick and murdered that nun, you fucking monster. Um,
Monster.
but like that's what they're talking about, and like they're like the fact you can do that is terrible, along with the fact of like, oh, it's a terrible thing you can do that to a holy religious shrine, when one, might I reiterate, in Assassin's Creed 2 you literally beat up the Catholic Pope. In Assassin's Creed Valhalla you're literally raiding monasteries. It doesn't, the context doesn't change just because it goes from being Catholicism to something different. It's still the same thing. It is free agency. You're doing it of your own volition. The game is not making you do it. It's like the no Russian mission in Modern Warfare 2 or 3, whatever one it is. You can go through that entire mission without shooting your gun and still progress. You don't have to fire your gun that entire time. Is it still controversial because you're walking into an airport with three other men who all have LMGs and you're mowing down crowds of people in the airport? Yes, it's meant to be a controversial mission. That's the point of it. But if you don't want to partake in it at all, you don't have to fire your gun. You literally do not have to shoot your gun in that mission. It is entirely optional. But I bet your ass you fucking mowed down a bunch of civilians because you wanted to fucking mow down civilians with an LMG because the game said you could. It's free agency. You have your own control over it.
Yeah, and I mean, which I guess there's what the couple little things that you can still blame on the dev team. That's just like tiny little inaccuracies, whether it's history or if it's cultural inaccuracies. Like I remember one thing I saw some people complaining about is there's like a character who's like a female sumo wrestler, which is if you go into any sumo wrestling events, very rarely do they even allow like women in the crowd. And there was actually a event in real life where a woman stepped onto the arena in which two sumo fighters fought. And before they would continue the event, they literally had a Shinto priest come into the arena and cleanse it before they would allow the two sumo wrestlers to continue.
But like you also got
So,
to keep in mind that there's also like
hmm,
Odyssey had historical accuracy. If we were going with that level of historical accuracy, Cassandra would not be a playable character in Odyssey, because there's literally a mission where it's like, oh, our Olympic our Olympian named Testicles, yes, that's his name. Testicles is killed. I guess Cassandra has to step in and be the new Olympian. She would not be allowed anywhere fucking near the Olympics. Married women were not allowed to go to the Olympics. Single women were not allowed to even watch the event unless they were going there. They were allowed, but the reason they were allowed was to find a man, like to literally start dating. That's the only reason why.
produce.
Yeah, that's the only reason why unmarried women back in the day could go watch the Olympics, and they weren't there to watch; they were there to meet people. So if we were,
Literally, that one got ass on.
yeah, like if a if we were going with the level of historical accuracy like that, Cassandra would not be the playable character in Odyssey, but she is the canon character. So that doesn't matter. It's okay. That's fine. I'm just saying you can't bitch about that. And another thing is like
And like I don't.
and another thing is like how they're like, "Oh, you don't get punished for murdering a priest." Yeah, you do. It's called desync. In every game since Assassin's Creed, the original one, you get punished for killing innocents. It says your ancestor
It's
did not.
three, but
Yeah, it's like you got to do it 3 times to get desynced, but it says your ancestor did not kill civilians, and then you do it again. It's like doing this one more time will result in desynchronization. As soon as you kill that third one, you desync. It's a punishment. You lose. You get punished for it. but they don't talk about it because, you know, drama's got a drama. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Most of the controversies around AC Shadows is stupid.
And
Now,
like, I don't mind certain inaccuracies as long as they're done good
you
well. Because
gotta
I
have
get
a
it.
suspension of disbelief when you're playing a video game. That's what
Mhm.
it. That's literally
We're
why you play a video game, is to escape. It's suspension of
mhm.
belief. You're not supposed to.
And we're in a new age now, obviously. You don't have to hold to the standards of back then just to show accuracy. And don't get me wrong, there being accuracy in things. And that's why if I want that accuracy, I would go to something more like a similar game would be Ghost of Tsushima, which focus more on giving you an in-depth view of that old world. While with something like Assassin's Creed, I could kind of care less. What, like if it's like utterly like I want it to be, within the realm, but I don't want it to be like, oh, we're going to make this boring with how
Yeah.
accurate we have to be.
And by the way, speaking of Ghost of Tsushima, I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh yeah, Yote.
They talk about, yeah, Ghost of Yote. But I'm talking about Tsushima.
Oh, okay.
Like they talk about how Jin, if he does the non-honor way. Now, most of us, I'm sure, still walked into a fucking base and was like, "Fight me," because it was cool that way. But they hint that you're gonna get punished for doing stealth because Jin, that's going against his code. You never get fucking punished ever for doing stealth. You don't get rewarded for doing stealth, nor do you get punished. But there's barely anything talking about it once it's introduced, and that would break historical accuracy. And Ghost of Tsushima is very historically accurate. It is its
Oh,
exploration is done well with the wind. It's naturally exploratory. Like
oh,
it's
it is not. I think it's not as looked on as much as the other stuff, but my favorite historical accuracies and little nods they do is the Mongols. Oh my god!
yeah,
If you look at all the artifacts and stuff, oh, the Mongols are portrayed so well. Oh, I could go
yeah.
on a rant about
But
that.
that
I'm
game
saving
is
that for
very
later.
historically accurate. But yet there's no punishment for breaking Jin's samurai code, which means, guess what? That's suspension of belief. They want you to have fun. It's a fucking video game.
Mm.
Just get over it.
And don't get me wrong, as I was saying, is there is limits to that because sometimes it really is just white knighting, and they're trying to appeal to a certain audience. I won't get into that much, but
Shadows is
nonetheless, they
not
appeal.
trying to appeal to a certain audience
Mhm.
for like
And
legitimately.
I don't think they are, and I think it's more of a in-house type deal, especially when it comes to something like a female sumo wrestler. I think that's not like some them trying to appeal to anything. 'Cause I think if they were trying to appeal with that, that'd be a little weird because I don't think anyone who needs that or
Yeah,
wants that really would care about that in specifics. But I don't think they're trying to go for that. Now, Ubisoft has done things like that within recent years in their other games. Once again, not going to touch on that much. But I don't think they're trying to necessarily do anything in bad will, at least the dev team. Then you get to the marketing, which I'll let him talk on that.
marketing is just
But
a
the dev
fumble.
team,
But
I think the dev team in general is trying to keep this as nonchalant and fun for everybody as they can.
and Ubisoft is doing good with the AC Shadows. I already talked about the DLC
Mm.
earlier, but like the fact that they delayed this game means that they're trying, because
Oh, yeah.
Ubisoft, they know Ubisoft knows that their game, just because it's a Ubisoft game, will sell. They've done that with Odyssey, Valhalla, Far Cry. They know it'll sell, so they'll just shit it out in whatever quality it's in when it's ready to go out. On the release date, oh, it's not ready. Whatever, we'll fix it in a day one patch. They'll they'll shit it out. They delayed Shadows, which means they're trying to make it good as best they can. And I mentioned this earlier when your PC blue screen. I kind of brought it up for a second. Yasuke is interesting because he has an armor in the previews we've gotten where people got to go out and play the game early. He has an armor where he has a big Templar cross on his chest, which might mean he might be related to the Templars, working for them, a Templar, we don't know. Or maybe his goal was aligned, or maybe the assassins and Templars are working together. We don't exactly know. But that's interesting. That's a good story plot. That's good. I just don't think Yasuke should have been playable. That's all. But like, it's now moving on to the big fumble here is marketing. The original marketing campaigns for AC Shadows. Um, Apparently Yasuke's sword is modeled after Zoro's sword from One Piece, one of his swords from One Piece. And They took the most generic Zoro sword from Amazon with the Amazon kanji fucking stand that I think says something stupid. Um, like and put it up for display, and yeah, everybody made fun of him.
That's almost as bad as Blue Lock putting a PNG of a soccer ball and just like.
But and then like, and they have a historical monument that is not meant to be used for
Commercial purpose.
commercial purposes. They have that as a part of a statue for the collector's edition, I think, which is no good. Like the marketing team is fumbling hard. I think now they're actually starting a new round of marketing, which has gone better because the game comes out next month. If you didn't know, March 20th. Also, real quick, March 20th, that whole fucking controversy of like, oh, March 20th is the anniversary of one of the most devastating natural. Yeah, it's a funny coincidence, but it's not intentional. Obviously, it's not fucking intentional.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like a
That's like,
60-year-old thing?
do you
And
think I would shit on a game for coming out on 9/11?
yeah, like, and for another reason, by the way, there's like 2 more big games coming out on March 20th. Rebirth of Souls is one of them. I don't remember the other one right now, but Bleach Rebirth of Souls is coming out on March 20th. What?
I think it's actually 22nd.
No, it's not.
Um,
I have the fucking game pre-ordered. Do you want to go?
I kind of want to go.
I'm gonna look it up right fucking now. Here,
I'm
let's see.
looking it up right now.
Here, Bleach Rebirth of Souls. Let's see. I can pull it up on stream too.
21st. We're both wrong.
It says 20th on the PlayStation Store. Suck my dick.
Stupid. Google says 21st.
Well, Google can be wrong.
You're wrong.
But like, there's another game coming out on the 20th too. Like, it's a coincidence.
And no one says anything about that now.
Yeah, it's a fucking coincidence. Get over it.
Like, do you think like, and I get it's also because what the game is meant to represent, because each game is meant to be a reprise of one culture of another, and I get that, but like, as I said, like if Far Cry 5, one of the most American like Ubisoft games ever, came out on 9/11, do you think I'd care?
Yeah.
Heck, I mean, okay, no offense, never forget, but I never really cared about it into like the second I got out of like middle school, where we all kind of like stopped talking about it.
Yeah, like it was a tragedy, yeah, but am I gonna rail on a game for coming out on 9/11? Fuck no. What if I decided to delay a video game to the release of the day the Alamo fell? Are you gonna fucking complain about it? Because I'm not, and I'm Texan, so you can suck my dick. It's like I don't
Imagine that. They make a Texas-based like Red Dead or something.
Yeah, and
they release it on the Alamo, and all of Texas. You forget the Alamo.
Yeah, like you think I give a fuck? It doesn't matter, man. Like it's just a coincidence, dude.
And I think that's actually what I want to start doing. Like the release date of any show, any game, or anything. I want to look up a tragedy that has happened on that day, and I want to say, "Oh, how dare you to make this on the day that Margaret Thatcher died?" Oh,
yeah.
Actually, wait, that's a celebration. Sorry.
And like another example,
Cheeky British humor, cheeky British humor.
Cheeky British humor, cheeky British humor. But the funny thing too is like its original release date was in November of 2024. It got delayed once to December, and then it got delayed again to March. It was delayed twice. There's no way it was a fucking intentional thing, guys. Just get over it. Anyway,
And I mean, and as for delay, I will say I'm actually happy it's delayed, because I am one of the biggest and most firm believers of try to release the game in the best finished state you can, unless you are like actively doing like what Hades does, where they literally make the game as people play it. But like, release it in the best possible form you can, because I don't want to be playing utter garbage. I mean, like Cyberpunk, I don't want another Cyberpunk, and now they fixed it, and I'm happy.
No Man's Sky is another good example. Like eventually, No Man's Sky is great now, but when it launched, it's like,
and like a perfect advocate for that is I recommend anybody watch the documentary. Oh, Eric's playing on ring. But watch the documentary documentary. I have a hard time saying that word.
Documentary.
Documentary on the
Documentary.
making of God of War 2018. And oh my god, yeah, they had a delay for a good few months, and Sony was not happy. They told them they told them if you don't make it by this deadline, you're either releasing it as is, or we're destroying. Basically, we're destroying Santa Monica Studios.
Yeah.
But I'm a full advocate of a game being delayed because if you can even because I'm okay with waiting. I mean, like, is it going to kill me? No.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I'm not dead. But then, like, if
Totally.
I die within the next month, then well, type crap. I wouldn't have been able to enjoy it in full anyway. But
I wish I didn't have to disable the background for this fucking
yeah.
podcast. I'm mad that I had to disable it because I think it was just destroying the bitrate of the video. I might try to let's just do a little test run here. Just blink. But like
Yeah, okay, keep talking as you working through that. But as if you release that in a finished state and you tell them, hey, sorry, we had to make you wait 3 extra months or whatever, or heck, maybe even half a year, I'm cool with it, especially if it was worth the wait, because I don't want hot garbage. I mean, because then I'm going to regret my purchase. I want something to be like, I want to feel the immediate power of my purchase, you know?
right, like the aside from all the controversy now, the next topic of AC Shadows is like, is this the end of Ubisoft? And if it fails, I think it is.
At least it's the end of what Ubisoft is
Right
now.
now, yeah.
I don't think Ubisoft will ever like die. I mean, with all the titles it has, I'm sure someone
there's
would die.
literally there's still more Assassin's Creed games. Two we think two are more coming out this year. We have a Assassin's Creed Hex, which is going to take place during the witch hunts in Germany, I believe.
Oh, that's crazy. I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah, it's not the witch hunts in America. I think it's Germany.
Yeah.
But like it's called Assassin's Creed Hex. It's a really badass sounding game, really good topic. And then the other one is the Black Flag remake that we know is in development and close to being released. Um,
Okay.
so like I think Ubisoft has a chance. Like I think if this game fails though, that they won't be able to save themselves. Like
And
they'll get
yeah.
bought out or something. But like they will, modern Ubisoft will fall, and it's like I think if this game does good and it actually fixes itself and is a good game, Ubisoft will get just enough good grace back to where when Hex comes out, and if Hex is good, then Ubisoft will start going up again and it will save Ubisoft. But I think right now, Shadows is either okay, we're give you another chance, or you burned your bridge. It's like we need to wait for you to get bought out before we trust anything else.
And that's the thing. It's kind of a weird scale that it's on right now because Ubisoft, even I have been like, I mean, with every game we play lately, like with like whether it's Siege or For Honor, we just like we hate ourselves the whole time.
Yeah, like
There's obvious fixes that can be made, and in a weird way, it's like I can see a good path either way, and I can see a terrible path either way. Say they do bad, they get bought out. That could be a total overhaul. You know, Ubisoft could be completely changed from ground up, and they could become what they have always wanted to be, and go back to their roots even, and become better. And like games that should be still more than enough alive that are dying, like Siege, will be able to be revived. You know, and I really hope for that. You know, I really hope it gets revived. But if that's done scorched earth style, you know, where they get bankrupt and bought out, you don't know how that's going to be done with what intentions. Because I
right.
mean, who knows? Like, they bought them out. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if Sony bought them out. I know if their relations with Sony would probably make it pretty likely. And
Hell, they were almost
that
gonna
would,
get bought out by Tencent Studios, and that fell through because the founders wanted to stay in control of Ubisoft. But when you're owned by somebody else, that's not how that works. It's like you don't get to stay in control when you're owned by somebody else. So that fell through. But they were going to get bought out. They were literally talking about literally letting a settlement happen where they would get bought by Tencent, and it didn't work out. Like it is very
and
likely that they could get bought out.
and say they don't get bought out. And in a weird way, I think that they're finally kind of catching themselves on their own bullshit. If you don't mind me saying, they're fine because heck, even look at Siege. It seems like they're even trying to change Siege for the better. Because you'll see, if you've been keeping up with the media, I'm sure you haven't as much because
I'm done with
you
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of done with it.
Yeah.
But I hope one day it can revitalize itself in you, but I know it's not at that state right now. But their next operation coming, Prep Phase, is called Prep Phase for a reason, and then and then coming after that, I think it's either called Operation X or that's like its pseudo name right now. And that's kind of the whole point. They're trying to revitalize Siege and change it at its foundations to try to bring back what it was and try to reprise it into what it now shall become. And I think that's starting to become a motto throughout the entirety of Ubisoft. Because I mean, Assassin's Creed Shadows I mean, it's basically a epitome of that. They're trying to satisfy, obviously, the modern day people who have liked and respected the RPG Assassin's Creed games while still trying to play kudos and go back to their origins, which is Assassin's Creed originals, and how they play. And it's trying to give people a reprise and a kind of a middle ground, but I hate to call it that because I feel like it's more than that, but a middle ground of both things. I think they're trying to do that across the field with all their games. I mean, I haven't seen anything for Honor yet. Who knows?
But
Siege, though, I can see that that's the attempt, and it's funny. And this isn't a Ubisoft only thing. There's other companies which are kind of falling into the same line. I mean, Blizzard, even. I mean, with Overwatch. I mean, I'm going to talk about this more on our next podcast, but a light idea of what I'm going to talk about is that they finally have competition, and now they're overhauling their own game purely because they're starting to realize, oh crap, we've gone off the deep end. Now I think Blizzard, unfortunately, is like too far into that crap,
yeah.
and I don't think there is recovery. But you can see that they're truly understanding. Oh, people don't like this. We should listen to people and stop being stubborn, because Monster Hunter is and like companies like Capcom are thriving right now in the modern world
Because they're just
because they
making
are
good games.
listening. They're
Yeah.
making good games, not trying to make it into some kind of statement or try to say, "Oh, it's good because we say it's good, and we don't care about what you say." Because they're trying to do what like movie critics do, where it's like, "Well, the audience just don't understand," you
Yeah.
know. And also, they listen. Look at there has been betas, alphas of their games because a lot of these companies are scared to do these open betas and stuff because they have a policy at this point,
Yeah.
especially with like Ubisoft. They're very scared to do that, and
But
I
hell,
don't
they
know if it's
even they
because
even did the early access showcase
mm,
for some YouTubers and stuff. Yeah, even though there's a channel I follow
mm.
that covers only exclusively Assassin's Creed that only has like 20,000 subs, and he got to go out and play like that. That's cool.
And I don't know if because Ubisoft's not prone to doing it, it seems like they're trying to at least breach the gap a little. But a lot of these companies are very scared, whether it's because they're scared of being reprimanded by their audience, or they're scared of
Don't stop yawning.
if they give you a free product of what you're trying to make into the full product, they're afraid that you're gonna not like it so early that you're not gonna just buy it blindly, basically, because now you're not blind.
But like a good
And
example of like one of
but Monster Hunter is not scared of that because they know what they're making, they know what you want, and they know how to listen and change things to what you want. And that's why they're thriving, because they're going to play the beta, and that doesn't make you want to buy the game less. It makes you want to buy the game more.
yeah, another good example of like a demo and like stuff is, funnily enough, just came out. I think it just came out a few days ago. Maybe it comes out in a few days. I don't know. Pirate Yakuza.
Ah,
That
yeah, I saw something
that
about that.
fucking game. The demo is great. The game is good. Like the demo is great, and they put the demo out completely for free. It's not an open beta. It's just a demo, and everybody
Yep.
loved it. It's like it's got great ship combat akin to Black Flag, like basically what Skull and Bones should have been. But like,
Oh,
um,
oh, God, don't even mention that dumpster fire.
speaking
Oh,
of Skull and
Ubisoft.
Bones,
Stuff like that.
yeah, like live service games. Another live service game. Well, not a live service, but EA with Dragon Age, the Veilguard. That game flopped so hard. But like, the EA went
Ah,
out and
epitome of the bad things.
we're not talking about that dumpster fire, but we're EA went out and said we think Dragon Age, the Veilguard would have done better if it was a live service game. No, it fucking wouldn't have. Yeah, just go fuck yourself. Live service is not good. I don't understand. Like, I know Destiny and like Fortnite and stuff like that. All of these games like prove me wrong, but live service is not the way of the future. Like, it is not what
It's
games should be, because a live service game you only get if you make a good live service game. And free to play, the reason Destiny 2 went free to play is because they knew if we keep this game paid, we're not going to make as much money. Because now, like with Fortnite having been free to play, everyone's like, it's a live service game that's free to play. Yeah, I'm going to spend money on microtransactions, but at least the game was free. So Destiny 2 went free to play. You see it with however many, same thing with Overwatch 2, by the way. You see it with however many games. Concord. Concord flopped so hard. What is another live service game? Anthem. I fucking hold on. No, you know what?
I think he's angry.
This dog shit game right here. This fucking terrible fucking game right here. Anthem. Yeah, I have this fucking game. Yeah, I know. This live service trash sucked. It just sucked because it was live service and they will fix it later when they just launched it. It's not good. Live service is not the way of the future. It is a 1 in a million moneymaker. Like that, either Destiny did good because Destiny 1 was just a fun game and it was built up before free to plays were a thing. And it was successful. So when Destiny 2 came out, it was still successful. And then when it went free to play, it was more successful. Fortnite just hit the money. That's just what happened.
Oh yeah. And everybody jumps on that bandwagon.
Yeah, Apex was good because it was using Titanfall stuff. Everybody loved Titanfall. Apex is good, and it's just how it happened. Concord, a full price $60 dog shit game, is not going to be good if it's a live service game. It's just not. It's not going to happen. So
the bandwagon made me think
so EA saying,
why are those names bad?
And like EA, I bet you when Veilguard was being made originally, EA wanted it to be a live service game, but then they were like, oh, actually, we've been fumbling with live service games lately. Maybe we should single player. Maybe
they were very into it.
Yeah, like they were like, we'll just make it single player, and you can tell it was definitely meant to be a multiplayer live service game with some of the aspects, and like. But because now it's changed from what it was originally supposed to be, so now it's even worse. It was started as a live service game, so it was already bad. And then they come out with the balls to say, "Oh yeah, if it was a live service game, it probably would have sold better." No, it fucking wouldn't have. It would have sold worse, if anything.
And Veilguard is like the epitome of what I was just talking about the death of these certain companies or studios. Because they just are missing the mark. They don't understand what people are wanting. And it's actually funny because I think this is kind of meant to be a rebirth of the gaming industry in a way. Because I think this is a necessary process we have to go through. Because you are seeing the big difference between these companies. You're seeing people like Dragon Age, Veilguard, which they literally kill themselves with the things they do. Because they are missing the mark. They're trying to pander to audiences in which are not the ones that are playing their games. Live service. But then you get people who like, no, we're going to stick to our roots. We're going to listen because it's not about us at the end of the day. It's about them, the people we're making this for. And you get Capcom. And also another difference that I think is really the difference in why you see such a stark difference between these two things is this side, they don't care about the thing they're making. I mean, yeah, some of the dev team might think it's pretty cool, but they're wanting to make money, especially with like live service. That's the
whole point of live service is to make money.
They're selling
big number. Yeah.
While with Capcom and all these other companies, which they fall in love with their own games. They are just as excited for the game they're making as the people they're trying to sell it to.
Because everybody in the office will play that game. It's like they
are passionate. There are laughs. There are such fun times in the dev studio. They literally love what they're doing, and that's the difference. Is the difference between a job and a passion, literally. And you see that just being shown through entire industry. And I really do think that is the revival that whether people realize it or not, I think we're going into both a death of the putrid, I guess you say, the infection, the cancer of the industry right now, with the revival and the renewing of something so much greater. With all these other companies.
I think by the end of this year, we're gonna be in a renaissance of gaming.
A renaissance,
like
yeah, there you go.
I literally think by the end of this year, gaming will have changed a big. And to further my point, Capcom, a great studio now, just a decade and a half ago, maybe two, was making the same mistakes that EA and Ubisoft are making. Biggest example, Devil May Cry, their biggest franchise at that moment. Resident Evil was good, but then you had Resident Evil 6 that everybody hated. Bad decisions there. Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry 4 set up an amazing sequel with Devil May Cry 5. And they fucking temporarily gave the rights to Ninja Theory to make DMC Devil May Cry. Now, I love DMC Devil May Cry because it was my first Devil May Cry, but it was not a good Devil May Cry game. It was bad. It just sucked. And they were like, well, fuck you guys. Ninja Theory leaned into it. It was like, well, you don't like the new Dante? You want the old Dante back? Fuck you, take the white wig off, kind of thing. Like, it literally, there was a joke in the game about it. Capcom backpedaled. Like, my bad, dog. Devil May Cry 5. And as soon as Devil May Cry 5 came out, well, Monster Hunter Worlds, Devil May Cry 5, they banger.
Resident Evil 7 and 8.
Yeah, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, Devil May Cry.
Street Fighter games.
Street 5, yeah, Street Fighter, Devil May Cry. They just banger. And now they have the goodwill again to where a game will sell just because it's a Capcom game again. Like,
and I think this is a crude way of saying it, but I think the perfect description of what is killing these companies is it's really crude. I think they're literally like whoring themselves out to one thing or another.
Yeah.
Whether they're whoring themselves out to money, they're whoring themselves out to opinion, because they're too afraid what people think of certain, factors, whether it be a social factor or a certain, a want or a need factor. They or straight up to other companies, as you've seen with DMC. I mean, I think it's as I said, it's a crude way to say that, and it's kind of rude, but it's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah,
and I hate to see it.
If we look at Capcom as an example, Capcom had the good grace when they were making the original Devil May Cry, the original Resident Evil, the original Street Fighters. Just because it was a Capcom game, it would sell. Monster Hunter as well. But then they fucked up. They fumbled, and it went to the point where it was like, no, you fucked up. You messed up. We don't trust you anymore to make good games. And then they built that goodwill back up, and now people will buy a Capcom game just because it's Capcom. You're seeing the same thing right now with Ubisoft, to use them as an example. Before, Assassin's Creed 2, Prince of Persia. You had Assassin's Creed, Prince of Persia, Splinter Cell, Tom Clancy's. You had Far Cry. You had Ghost Recon. You had The Division. You had
some of the most iconic games of history.
And people would buy a Ubisoft game just because it said Ubisoft on the box. But now they've burned that bridge. It happened. We were doing that all the way with all the way up until Odyssey. Valhalla was the last game, I would say, where it was like someone bought it just because it was a Ubisoft Assassin's Creed game, and they were like, I don't know if it's good or not, but it's an Assassin's Creed game, so I'm gonna buy it. Valhalla was the last game that happened. Mirage is good, by the way. Like, Mirage is good, but people, they tasted sour grapes. They were not okay with it anymore. They had been burned too many times, and so nobody bought Mirage. But Mirage is good. It's better than Valhalla. It is good.
And as per the metaphor I used earlier, it was literally like a cancer that was spreading through Ubisoft, because one by one series were being murked, literally.
Yeah.
Like Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. The Rainbow series was way longer than I thought it was, and it was a sturdy series. And even Rainbow Six Siege was one of the biggest games of all time when it came out, and it remained that way for the next 4 years. And then year 5 later, it just started going down.
Right.
Far Cry was doing amazing, even up to 5, but then they made those little decisions in between the games, especially with like DLC, which actually it's not DLC, it's a whole different game. But they made stuff like Primal and New Dawn. Primal's all right, but it's like, why?
New Dawn should have just been DLC. Far Cry 6 is the most mediocre game ever, too. It's like, it's not bad, but it's not really good either. But
each game just had its cancer that infected it. I mean, as I said, it hit Siege, it hit Far Cry.
When is the last time you've seen a fucking Splinter Cell game?
And then they just gave up on series that everybody loved, like Splinter Cell. And then rather than giving it something new, reprising it, remastering it, or even making a sequel, what do? They say, screw you, we're putting him in Siege. And that's all you get. It's like, that's cool, and I like that he's in there, but I want him to be in his own game.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You look at the 4 most recent games that Ubisoft has released, right? You've got Prince of Persia and the Lost Sands, whatever. Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and one more game that I don't remember right now. But my point is, you look at all four of those games, and you've got pretty okay games, just okay. You remove the game I can't remember right now, and you've got some all right games. You remove Star Wars Outlaws, and you've got some pretty fucking good games. You remove Mirage from that equation, and you've got a really good game. The new Prince of Persia game is really good. I don't know if you've played it or seen it. It's really good. But nobody talks about it because Ubisoft burned their fucking bridges. They fucked up. They lost goodwill. But now we're getting to the point where maybe it'll start with Shadows, go into Hex and so on. But Ubisoft might be getting their renaissance here. EA is another example of like an old game, but like
if they do go into their renaissance, I really want to see that be the revitalization of things that defined Ubisoft. As we said, Ubisoft, Far Cry, you name it. I want these things to either get sequels, reprises, whatever it may be. I want them to show people why people fell in love with Ubisoft in the first place. Because if you even think about it, unfortunately, there's a whole generation of people who play these games who don't even know about the original Ubisoft. Basically, they know they made these games, but they didn't experience that feeling of what Ubisoft was, and all they've experienced is the bad. They've seen Mirage. Not Mirage. They've seen Shadows and some of the bad things people are saying about it. They see Siege. They see all these
they've
other
seen Odyssey,
like
they've seen
For
Valhalla.
Honor.
Yeah,
It's like they have not experienced the age of why people still play these games. They haven't experienced that. So now they're killing themselves in the sense that they're not giving themselves potential to keep people coming in, giving people new nostalgia. You know, they're cutting the wrong parts. They're not cutting the cancer. They're cutting the wrong parts. But I hope, as I said, with Shadows, doesn't remain true.
And another thing is like with live service games is they cost so much money to make. They're hundreds of millions of dollars. Unless you hit it big, that game will never be profitable. It'll never make a profit. And so it's doomed to fail unless it's like Fortnite or Destiny or whatever. Then you hit the money. Like you talk all the shit you want about Fortnite, it hit the jackpot. You know what I mean? So like unless you get that big jackpot winner, it's gonna fail. And it's like if you just don't make a live service game, you can take a better risk. And that's another thing too, is they're not taking risks anymore. They don't do the risky thing. It's just another sequel or another remake or another remaster and that's fine. Again, give us the sequels we want. When is the last time you saw a Splinter Cell game?
And to kind of make a connection, kind of in a funny way, show how this is kind of also seen in the film industry in a funny way. Very similar and just very similar light. Kind of the stark difference between live service and not. You'll even see in a funny example similarly with Disney.
Yeah.
How Disney has for a long time made a lot of their money from their theme parks and stuff. And, people go to Disneyland. Disneyland is where you go. If that's your summer trip with your family. But they're so focused on making these dumpster fires of movies and the CGI and stuff that literally the CGI of The Little Mermaid, the new one, obviously, was I think about $330 million. And then their most recent park that they made, the most recent theme park they made, was 110 million. Why are you putting 3 times the spending into that when you know it's a dumpster fire? When you could go back to your origins and make everybody happy.
Right, and the less money you spend on a thing, even if it's a dumpster fire, it's still probably going to sell because it's a Disney movie. If the less money you spend, the more of a chance you have to make a profit off of it. You know what I mean? And another thing with Disney too is like Star Wars, right? Like I'm a big Star Wars fan, but the burnout on Star Wars, I think we're starting to see it with Assassin's Creed. We had that moment where from AC1 to to Assassin's Creed Revelations, people were excited, but by the time you got to Revelations, people were getting tired of Ezio. It was just happening. People love Ezio. Ezio is larger than life. I think if you think of Assassin's Creed, you think of 3 characters. You think of Ezio, Cassandra, or Basim, because I didn't realize how popular Basim is. Mirage. Basim
my 3 was Ezio, Cassandra, and Kenway.
Kenway is another one. Like Edward. Yeah. But I mean like modern day, like Now, Edward Kenway is definitely up there still, but like you think of 3 people right now. Like Basim is just there. Like he's a good character. He's much better than I thought he was originally. But like just because he's the most recent protagonist, you think of Basim. Cassandra is the most recognizable protagonist at the moment, and Ezio is just larger than the whole series right now. It's just how it happens. So when you get there, you know, it's hard to go, but people were getting tired of Ezio, and then you got the Kenway saga, which is, you know, 3 through Rogue. How many people here have played Rogue? I haven't played Rogue. I own Rogue. I bought the entire Assassin's Creed series. I haven't played Rogue yet. I'm getting to it. I'm playing through AC3 right now, or well, actually Liberation. I've actually beaten AC3. I got the platinum last night, but I'm playing through Liberation right now. But like, how many people have actually played Rogue when it came out, or up to now? You know, like you had that, and that was a refresher. But by the time you get to Syndicate, people were just getting burned out on the Assassin's Creed formula. It's just how it happens. So you get Origins, and then that it breathes new life. So Origins is awesome. It breathes new life into the series. People want a trilogy with Bayek. It's great. I'm gonna wait till he comes back to actually finish this talk. Now that you can hear me again, I'm gonna continue a little bit more.
I got caught on camera.
What? Your little.
No, what I what?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's right on the camera.
But like, you know, by the time you get to Syndicate, you know, people are getting burned out on Assassin's Creed by now, the formula. So then you have Origins comes along, and it breathes a brand new life in the series. Bayek is such a good character. He's such a well done character. The game is so good. People want a trilogy with Bayek, but they don't give you the trilogy with Bayek. Yeah, people wanted a trilogy with Bayek. But they're like, the reason they didn't give you one is because, well, if you total up the playtime of the Ezio trilogy, it's 60 hours, and Origins is 60 hours long. So like you get the same time. That was their excuse. Are you looking up if people wanted a trilogy?
No, it's random. I forgot who made Gears of War. I was just who made them.
But it breathed new life in the series. Odyssey was just another one of those games where everybody bought it. A lot of people liked it. But like, you know, bought it because it was Ubisoft Assassin's Creed, and Valhalla was the last goodwill buy that it had. And Valhalla is a good game, but it's just so bloated. You know what I mean? There's just too much game there. It's just not. You gotta like play it until you get tired of it, and then put it down for a week, and then play it till you get tired of it, and then put it down for a week. And you're gonna do that at least twice, I think. Like I'm probably gonna do that at least twice when I get to platinuming it, because I'm platinuming the entire series. In case you didn't know. If you want to see videos on that, let me know. Like when I get there, I'm probably gonna do it. And it's just gotten to the point where it's holy shit. We're coming up on 2 hours on this podcast. All right, we might have to move along a little faster.
Yeah, no, I was about to say we're ending the subject.
I'm ending it right now. So
I think we've said everything that needs to be said, and I mean, I do hope. The closing note is I do hope, and I do believe that we're coming into a renaissance, and I hope this is a defining moment of gaming, and I hope we thrive, because I believe that truly we're getting to a point to where we are all, as people who play games, we are all becoming a very strong community, and our words are way stronger now than we originally thought, because we are molding these companies now. It's getting to a point where if we're not interested in these games and they're trying to push this crap, and they're trying to just make garbage, we don't buy it. Look at Concord. I think literally in the like 1-digit thousands, I think is the amount of sales it got.
Yeah.
People aren't wanting these games. People simply aren't buying it. And I think the power of the gamer, or whatever you want to call it, is shining right now. And I think, as you said, we're coming to a renaissance. And I think we shall see a new age of individuality, of community, and just a hope for a better day every day.
Yeah, I'm hoping by the end of 2025, gaming will be revived. But moving away from video games for just a moment, we will come back to video games later, not Assassin's Creed, but we'll loop back in just a minute.
We haven't talked about this yet.
We have 2 more segments to talk about. So
wow, I'm cool with it. This has been I've been vibing with this podcast, and I hope to all those who have watched now or
will watch in the future,
you are enjoying this as much as we are.
So moving on to real life sports, hockey.
Real life. hockey.
Now, in case you weren't aware, the International Hockey League just happened. Just started. Canada and U.S. were
It-
up against each other.
Finland, Finland, Sweden, and Canada, and the USA is, I believe, the 4 competitors.
Yeah.
There's been like 3 games. Now,
I think
believe.
it's been like a decade since either the U.S. has competed in the International League or has gone against Canada specifically.
Been a bit. It's been a bit.
And Cole did a little bit more research on this than I did. I'm the bigger hockey fan here. I think we both know that. But I'm the bigger hockey fan here. All I know of this
Trying to
match,
get back into it, man.
all I know of this match, I have not watched it. All I know of this, because it didn't have a team I care about. But all I know is that within the first 9 timed seconds of the match, there were 3 fights immediately, because right before the match started, the American national anthem played and Canadians were booing. And
players and viewers all.
So within the first 9 timed seconds and the first 3 minutes of the match, 3 fights broke out. That's 1 fight a minute, by the way. Just because if you don't know, when in hockey, when you throw the gloves down, you get 60 seconds to just go at it. So
I think it's been brought down to 30 seconds.
It might have been brought down to 30 seconds.
Years, but nonetheless, you get time. They let you throw hands.
Yeah. So the first 3 minutes of the fucking match, 9 time seconds of the hockey game, 3 fights happened. So Cole,
And may I put that into perspective?
Yeah.
For the past 20 years, 2 decades, there has not been a single fight in the international competitions.
Yep.
Because obviously people don't want to make an ass of themselves in front of the world. That's kind of the point. And don't get me wrong, fighting is a central part of hockey. It's not because, just to put it in perspective, in most other sports, you get in a fight, you get thrown out of the game. They kind of influence it in hockey, and it's kind of more of
have designated fighters.
They literally give you a moment to do it. I mean, it's influence. It's funny. But there's also moments where it is a very serious thing, and it happens for a reason. And this is one of those moments, because it had to be serious for it to be something that basically broke a 2 decades long, celibacy of
celibacy. Yeah.
Celibacy from fighting. To break that, it needed to be a offense, and it was. And I mean, I'm not going to go into a debate of patriotism or country pride, but when you have these international competitions, it's meant to be a moment of togetherness. No matter where you are from the world, it's meant to be a way for us all to compete in a equal environment. Yeah, whether this sport or originated in your country or not, this is our way of coming together and showing our appreciation for something greater than ourselves. And each country, each participant should be just as appreciative and just as respectful to any of the cultures or any of the celebrations, any of the ways of expressing their pride. You should be, courteous of it. And I'll let you say your little piece, and I'll get back to my tangent.
And like, there's a difference between like in the game and before the game. Before the game, it is all respect. That is what it's supposed to be. The anthems play is respect. Mid of the game, it's okay to kind of trash talk a little bit because it's going to happen. Look at a good example is like right around the time Queen Elizabeth died. There was a soccer match where it was England versus, I believe, Ireland, maybe Scotland, where every time England had the ball, they would go, Queen's dead, something like that. And then when they got the ball back, they would then double down and like go even harder on it. And they were just chanting and shit talking. That's fine. It would have been fine that whole time. Like, if every time Canada had the puck, whoa, yeah,
USA sucks.
And then when USA had the puck, boo, that would have been different. But they booed the national anthem. That is before the game. So I think the fights were deserved. That's all I'm saying.
That's meant to be an epitome of a country's pride, of them showing the respect to you and themselves, and them declaring themselves amongst the arena. And by the way, and this is not favoritism whatsoever. If the Americans did it, I think they would have deserved twice the
Yeah,
ass
they
beating.
should
Because
have.
now you're going into their country and you're doing
And
that.
yeah,
That's twice as ignorant.
yeah.
But even then, even with us coming into your country, and I'm happy that the Prime Minister of Canada was there, by the way, Trudeau, because I hope that kind of enlightens him a bit, because I'm not going into that. Let's just say he's kind of what I kind of see him like I see Margaret Thatcher. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. But
What is up with you and Margaret Thatcher today?
I don't like the woman, okay? It's my Irish blood, okay? Anyway, sorry. But it is just ignorant. It is, in my opinion, vile and disgusting to do something like that. And it has, I mean, as I said, you are not just insulting the players, you're insulting the viewers, you're insulting an entire way of life and culture. And yeah, first 9 seconds, three ass beatings, fully deserved. And those
Yeah,
hockey players, by the way, whenever they went back to when they went into the box, because they got the penalties, they went back with a smile.
yeah, because
And I'm happy they did, because they were angry, by the way. You should have seen that they were fidgeting. They were not happy that all that nonsense was happening. Because during our anthem, if there's any
yeah,
non in country viewers,
we don't, I don't know who all is, if there's any non-Americans watching.
let me just kind of clarify. We all share a moment of silence for a variety of reasons, because the national anthem goes beyond where its origins. It's not just meant to be a declaration of our independence and our our identity as America. It's meant to be a somber moment where you both celebrate what all things that is America, all of its history, all of its connections, all of its friends and foes, is meant to be both a somber moment to recognize the moment, the bad, the tragedy, and yet it's also meant to be a moment where you celebrate where we have gone and the individuality of each person who is listening to that anthem in that moment. And with every other country, it's more or less the same in their own regards, and they have their own things they do around it. And something I will say that this is kind of my personal tangent. It's just like 2 seconds. Is that I even get annoyed at people here in Dallas, because whenever there's a Dallas Stars game, they're doing the national anthem. It says stars like 2 or 3 times in the national anthem, or it says the word star. Like Star Spangled Banner is one of the
yeah,
words. Every time, every fan goes stars. Every time it says the word star, and then I'm like, shut up. That's disrespectful. I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. And it's not even like a patriotism thing for me. That's just a stop being a hole.
yeah, like,
And to be so ignorant and ignorant as a separate culture and separate country to be insulting us when we're trying to come celebrate something that defines your culture with you and insulting us when we come and try to be your guests and try to be honorable, that it's just not right. And I think it's deserved.
you don't even see that shit in soccer, man. Like
Yeah, no.
when the
And
U.S.
that crap talk.
Yeah, when the UK goes against Spain and shit like that, and they're very respectful. I mean, and they shit talk all the time, but like they're
Oh
very
yeah.
respectful about it. It's just a like a culture thing, man. But all political stuff aside, the three fights in the first fucking
Oh, yeah.
9 seconds of the fucking match, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and they were thorough ass beatings, by the way.
Yeah,
Helmets flew, heads got knocked, and by the way, if it wasn't already deserved, outside of a physical ass beating, scoreboard, 3-1.
yeah,
For those who don't know hockey, that is pretty impressive. Literally 3-1. You look at it like a ratio, basically.
yeah. That was
Which, by the way, I think it was Finland and Sweden when they went against each other. I think Finland beat them by like 6-1.
yeah,
It started off with 1 point, and they're like, "Yeah, we're beating your ass." And then 6 points right after that. Holy crap!
yeah. It's so
Thought
funny.
I'd squeeze that in.
Um, but yeah. So
But
to this was meant to be a little bit of a shorter segment
yeah,
to kind of fill the gap, but to round this one up, we are pushing on longer than we expected to. So that's why I'm gonna kind of
yeah.
brush through this one a little bit. Moving on to the final topic of today's podcast, Tabor. Now, if you are one of my viewers right now, you definitely know what Tabor is because I'm sure you subscribed to the one or every stream random video. Me and Cole are both Tabor players. I've been playing. I took a break, but I played when the game initially released on Quest. When it was a buggy fucking mess with the original bunker, and it was terrible. It just sucked. But Cole is newer to the game. He played after the award happened, so
I think I joined in either the second or third wipe, I believe. Third probably.
of full release, yeah.
Yeah, full.
But or I guess technically full release. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's the second wipe. No, okay, I think no, I started playing second wipe. I can say that.
I think you played. Don't look at that.
The
You can't
first
see it
wipe
anyway. Cool,
was
it's
the
censored.
Golden Eagle, right? And then for the beta test and all that was the hat. That was the wipe rewards, right?
I don't entirely remember. I believe I'm just gonna use this as your time, like, thing. He joined the wipe as soon as this wipe ended, the next wipe after it won the Steam Awards in 2023, 2024, whatever. No, it was 2023. So right after the Steam Awards is when Cole started playing. But that was still a good while ago. That was beginning of 2024, basically. So I'm a little more seasoned than him, but we both got it. I played a little bit and then took a break because I could not handle how buggy the game was. But we got back into it at the same time. So we are seasoned Tabor players, I would say. Fairly seasoned Tabor players. We're going to talk about the current state of Tabor. It is a problem right now. I will say that.
It's both funny because I feel like in two ways it's a dumpster fire yet almost evangelical in a way because it's
right.
It's rising from the ashes of that dumpster fire.
So, biggest thing, the fucking spear. That's what we're going to talk about right now. The spear needs to get either A, deleted, or B, nerfed bad. Because in concept, it's cool. I love the spear as a gun. It's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
But, like...
It's a SIG gun. It's being used in military use right now alongside its brother, XM250.
Right. And it's like, it's a good gun. Gameplay. But, like, and you look at, like, Collector's LMG, right?
XM250, the LMG variant.
Yeah, it is the same gun, basically. Just chambered a little differently, but basically same gun.
Shoot the same round and everything.
Same round. It is just bigger gun, basically, is what it is. And that's fine with how broken that is, because it does the same thing. It shreds even if you have max armor with FMJ loaded in that gun, it shreds through you and it kills you really quick. That's fine because it's such a hard gun to get. You can only get it from a boss scav. That is the only way you can get it. The XM250 spear variant, the spear, I'm just going to call it the spear from now.
AKA the XM25.
XM25 spear. You can find it in raid, which immediately gives the most dogshit Timmy the ability to kill a fully kitted player. And of course, there's always... Yeah, in like 2 shots. And there's always going to be that thing where like, oh, well, then just, outplay them or whatever. And you always expect to die. And that even when you're fully kitted, you should always expect to die because it's probably going to happen. But like now it's so easy. 2, if you get to the max level trader, you can buy the fucking gun. You can just buy it off the wall. And it is the most broken gun in the fucking game right now. And with the rework to the quests, it's so easy to get to tier 5. You can get to tier 5 so easily. It's work, but like you can get there. It's not hard now. Like back then.
Yeah, like if I got onto Tabor right now, I'm having a pain in the ass doing this one mission. But I literally think if I just grinded for the next day or 2, probably 2, I could get to level 5 traders on at least 2 of the traders, which is all you really need.
Yeah, like it. So right now it's just in a state where you got to do something about the spear. It's okay if it's gonna get changed next wipe, but that means I'm not gonna play till next wipe. And now that I'm making content on Tabor and I'm having fun with it in a different way, I want to play the game, but I don't want to just suffer for no reason. You know what I mean?
And it's funny because we were just talking about this the other day. It's funny how they took through like 3 steps forward with making AP not buyable anymore. You have to find it. I think that's an amazing step forward because it makes it such a limited resource, and it makes it to where when you get killed by it, it should be rare. But then they take like 6 steps back, if not more, with the spear because FMJ kill if you are literally wearing the collector armor, tier 6 plates. By the way, everybody calls the tier 5 the tier 6, but it's not technically if you're talking about plates. Now, if I guess you're talking about like out of the armor. Anyway, but the tier 6 armor, the collector's armor, which is it's busted and it's meant to be just like his gun. You can be killed by FMJ to the chest in 2 to 3 shots. By the way, with one of the highest likelihoods of applying heavy bleed. So even if you survive those 2 shots, you kill the dude with a spear even maybe.
Yeah.
Are you
Like,
going to have time to wrap up, And it's like, especially now that they're increasing the time it takes to actually put in a heal. I
yeah,
mean,
like,
it's going to be
and
so
now
hard to.
they're moving in a direction of like, we're going to talk about this a little bit more here in a second, but they're moving in a direction of like, now that with Exfil Zone around, yes, Exfil Zone doesn't have as many players, but it has improvements that Tabor definitely needs. And competition breeds innovation and improvements, right? And they're moving in, but like, as you said, when they made AP to where it could only be found in raid, boom, big improvement right there. That made the game so much more fun to play right there, because now you weren't gonna just die immediately to AP. But then they give you a gun that's better than AP. You don't need AP to fucking kill somebody with that gun.
Literally, AP is like whipped cream for that
Yeah,
gun.
like it literally doesn't need it. It's actually better without AP if you
Yeah, use
can't find it.
tracers even if you want, and then boom, you can see exactly where your shots are going, center them, and guy's dead because
Yeah,
you didn't even need to hit him with 2, you already hit him with 3.
yeah, like it's like it feels like they took 2 steps forward and 40 steps back all of a sudden. Like it's not,
And
and then they go to make improvements. The bag system, good improvement. They fucked up and it was very glitchy. But
yeah,
now
that's
it's
day one. They did a hot fix. Luckily, it's still in a bad state.
I tried to make a video day one. It was not good.
Oh my god! And actually, I'm gonna comment because I've been playing a little bit to Tabor over the past couple days.
I've taken a break.
They
I will
fix
admit.
they fixed it. They made it to where you don't crash immediately. But I've had multiple times now where I have had and it supposedly should be in the best state ever. Apparently, but that's a lie. Scott, you're lying. Because I've had items glitch on me terribly. The bag still is terrible. Like the hitboxes, because now they've made everything go through each other. Finally fixing it, I think. But
Yeah, they went back to what they had
the
before, where it was
hitboxes on the items that you put in your bag is terrible. You can only fit maybe half the stuff, if even that, in your bags now that you could before. Purely because the hitboxes are terrible. But then it also goes the other way. If you know how to work it and use a Ragnar and you have a gun sticking horizontally out of that bag, and it's like, oh yeah, that fits.
yeah.
It's like how does that work? And but they've completely messed up that system. And I get you have to you have to sometimes trim the fat and actually cut a little bit of meat in the process and try to get it back. But it's not in a good direction at times. It's in a good direction movement wise, but
Yeah, being faster.
execution in execution, I think the problem is 2 things: how quick they're doing it and in the vein they're doing it. Because I do believe that Tabor's trying to have the best relationship they can with Exfil Zone, but unfortunately, heck, I'm seeing it in so many forum posts on Reddit, even on Ghost of Tabor's own Discord. By all means, Ghost of Tabor at the current moment, I think has about 10 times the player count, like active player count that Exfil Zone has, but
Exfil Zone is
Exfil
the better
Zone
game.
is slightly every day it's catching up because I keep seeing posts saying exactly what I was about to say. I'm leaving Tabor.
Yeah.
People are saying that because they're through with it. Because this is one of my biggest complaint in like any exfil shooter, any game really, is TTK, time to kill. There has to be a good balance between how quick you die and your reaction time. Because you want to, if you get shot, if you're wearing good armor, you should at least expect to have a second or 2 to react. That's just natural. That's the point of the armor. It's meant to be a handicap in the best way possible. But whenever you add something like the spear or an abundance of AP or whatever it may be, and because by the way, the fact that the spear can both be bought and found in raid, by the way, means that there would be more and more in rotation as time goes forward, meaning that you'll just, and we're already seeing it enough. So
Yeah.
meaning that it's going to be unavoidable. and it's just going to put you down on the ground every time. And like I'm cool with the X. If I get shit on by the X250, cool. Honestly, I'm like,
You
well, type
you
shit.
either killed a
Won't do
guy
that
who
ever. He risks bringing that in.
yeah, you either killed the guy who had it, you killed collector who had it, you killed a player who had it, and you had the balls to bring it in. I brought I
And
bought an XM250 into raid once, and what happened to me? I got fucking grenade killed and I lost it. But type shit, I guess. Like
yeah, it's like I could be wearing the highest tier armor. Somebody kills me with the XM250. Well, type shit. Goddamn, good for them, you know.
yeah, like but I
But
murdered
they
a bunch
are
of people
going
with
in.
it. You know? Like
Oh yeah, they are going in the right direction with a lot of things, especially like now you're able to fold armor. So now like you, because that's kind of the weird duality of extraction shooters is you go in with your best gear and you find gear that is either equal to or just below the level of the gear you're
so you don't
wearing.
want to bring it.
You can't take it, but you're like, oh, I would love to have more of this so I can use it later, but like I don't have space to bring it back over with me, or I'm gonna have to spare a hand, like in Tabor. But finally, they're making it to where you can fold armor and bags. I still think it needs to be, fine
I
tuned a little
think
bit.
bags shouldn't be foldable. I think armor should be. I don't think bags should have been foldable. I think they should have left bags alone.
Truthfully, I think they need to also, on top of doing the folding, I think they need to also do what Exfil Zone does, where they also have a slot on the bottom of bigger bags to where you can literally fold it up, and it has like a little strap that straps it to the bottom of the
Yeah.
bag, so it
And
has that
speak
actual slot.
And speaking of that,
Good.
now with the exception of the sling bag, every backpack has a slot for a gun that just snaps into it, including the Ragnar, which is a big duffel bag. That's in case you don't know, a big duffel bag that's meant to be able to carry guns and stuff. But like, it has a slot on it now too. The adventure bag has a slot on it, and which is that is a good improvement. But if the
And I'm
bag
cool
is
with that.
but if the bag is broken, and I can't fit half of the shit I used to be able to carry before, what the fuck is the point? Give me
Because
the old bag back.
you optimize the game to where we can optimize looting to the point where it's like you don't just go into raid, go, oh, all this stuff is the same tier I'm wearing or just slightly lower, so I guess I'm just gonna leave it. Like you get away from that, but then you make it to where I can't even fit it in the first place. Like I
Yeah.
remember the other day, I was doing a raid, I hit a purple vault, and I was wearing a tier 4 vest, the Russian looking one. I found a tier 5. I put on the tier 5 in the vault, and then there was in total, including the one I was wearing, there was like 3 tier 4s sitting in that vault. I was wearing a gear tag. By all means, with the model that they show you in game, I
You
should have
should
been
be
able
able
to
to.
stack those right on top. They all should have fit in the bag, no problem. But due to the spacing, the hitboxes, or whatever the hell's going on, I could only get one in there. I almost could squeeze that second one, but it just wouldn't fit. And that makes no sense with the model that you're showing me. And I'm not saying, and like, I get it. It's like, oh, look at you, buddy boo. You're trying to take out 3 tier 4s at the same time. I get that's the problem. Just make weight the problem at that point.
Yeah. And weight was
But the
broken at
and by the
first too.
way, I made an empty space in the bag completely fit perfectly, but you want to know when I could get that in there, when it finally was actually able to slot in? About this high above the bag,
Yeah. Like it's
outside of the bag's entire hitbox.
yeah.
Why is it
Give
over here?
give me the old bags back right now. Until you fix the new bags, I want the old bags back. Like I
Hmm.
take away the slot, that's fine, whatever. I'll take the compromise. Take away the slot, but give me the old hitbox. Do that until you fix the new fucking bags. Like I just don't care. I don't want to do that.
And I get Ghost of Tabor has kind of put themselves in an interesting position because they even said it themselves. They said that we need to worry about getting in new players. We can do tiny bits of DLC here and there, but we still need to make money. I think technically they're a little bit bigger operation than Contractors Showdown, so they probably have a little bit more operation cost. I get that, but and I understand the fire that's under their ass and why they're trying to make such big changes before the next wipe, but like it's too soon, too quick. Literally, we heard about it 3 days before some of this stuff was released,
Yeah.
and that's just crazy. I don't like. Yeah, they hinted at it like a week prior, but like that's still it
Yeah.
sounds very it sounds very too quick, and it also makes you wonder their quality control. I mean, how do you release that at such a bad quality? And like, I get that. Oh, we don't catch things, but that stuff was like so
Yeah.
blatant
Yeah,
that how?
when you're QA testing, I'd understand a little bit more if like maybe on their servers it was working better because they had different like settings or optimizations and it was working better. But when it goes to that's why you have to do maintenance on the live server sometimes. You've got to when
Mhm.
nobody's playing, your player count's at the lowest, unscheduled maintenance and you run live tests on the live servers real quick,
Mm-hmm.
QA, quality assurance, and you check shit and make sure it's running good. And they fumbled like, and I think most of it's honestly Scott. I'm gonna be honest. Um,
Because it seems like a lot of the team, I talked about this with him the other day. It seems like a lot of the Tabor team has wanted to actually like not work with Excel Zone, but like be rivals in a sense. You know, not they don't hate each
motivate
other.
each
It's
other.
kind of
It's
motivate each other. Like, hey, where I fail, you do better, and where you do better, I try to imitate that, and you imitate me where you like, and let's try to also, stay our own games, not entirely become each other, but improve from each other. You know.
and like I love Tabor. Don't get me wrong. I love Tabor, and I love Combat Waffle. They're great, but it seems like they're just kind of shooting themselves in the foot. And you mentioned earlier how you think Contractors has lower operational costs. No, they don't. This is their second game. Keep in mind, this is their second game. They had an original game that was the most like VR, like hardcore FPS shooter. Like it was essentially like not gonna say like gameplay wise, but like it was Siege, like it was an esport. It was a VR esport, is what it was. It was a big game
Mhm.
for them, and that they are a decently big company, for VR development. Let me keep in mind for VR development. They're bigger than Combat Waffle. I do know that. Combat Waffles only is like a team of like 12 dudes, and like four of them are
Yes,
fucking social
like
media.
Infish.
Yeah, well,
Like
like
Infish, he literally is like he doesn't necessarily work
he's a
for Combat
media.
Waffle. No,
he's
he's not media. Infish he's like the mentor to the people who do the maintenance and programming.
Yeah, like and like four of the 12 people who actually are paid there are like media people. It's
Yeah.
like there's only like 8 devs there. I think there's more, but over I'm over exaggerating, I guess is the word. I was gonna look for another word, like I'm being like using hyperbole or whatever. But I'm just exaggerating. But they're like a like 8-man dev team. Like they're hell, Melee was there were 2 dudes working on Melee. Maybe actually 1 dude who worked on the Melee system, and that's why Melee sucks ass. It's like it's because it's just not. He even says it's just not good. It just sucks. Like because it's one dude working on it. They're a small company, and that's fine. But for a long time, they were up in the market because everybody was that was the only game. It was VR Tarkov, and then you okay?
Oh, I'm just messing.
Okay, but like it was VR Tarkov, which was a market that actually wanted to be filled because Tarkov is a unique game, but it's a good game. But then you get Exfil Zone, which is what you get Contractor Showdown, which does Warzone in VR, which that immediately makes it blow up. Which immediately makes
I'm
it.
laughing.
I know, I just don't know why. Um,
It's because the way you said it sounds like a father who has a very I'm going to say the word mid daughter. Oh, she has a very unique personality. She's very nice. It's like that episode of Garfield.
but like you have VR Tarkov basically, and then you get Showdown, like Contractor Showdown, which is Warzone in VR. Bam, blows up in popularity. People, because the only like battle royale you've had is Pop One, which is basically like Fortnite. Fortnite in VR, not a bad game, but it's not very
I
good.
got over it.
Yeah, it got old pretty quick. Um, but then you have basically Warzone in VR, and Warzone, is my opinion, was when it first came out the best battle royale. Apex, I think, has taken. Well, right now, Apex is not a good battle royale game. I will say that.
Oh,
I
I remember that video the other day of like where it's like the current mentality of Apex players.
this game fucking yeah, no, it's terrible. Like I'd rather play Fortnite. I've been playing Fortnite, like, and
He's finally tainted me with it. Miku really did. I hate to say he did.
Miku was the bullet. I was just the gun. But like I've been enjoying Fortnite because it just is. But Warzone, when it first launched, was the good battle royale. That was the best battle royale. And to get that in VR, money right there, and it was money. And then they make an extraction shooter mode, which is just actually VR Tarkov. It is just legitimately almost a 1-for-1 of VR Tarkov with scav and contractor. Like you could do a scav run and like PMC and stuff. It's
Rather
actually
than like strict cut like AP and FMJ, they have a variety of ammos for each type of ammo. Each gun actually imitates a certain, and like I've mentioned how the like guns themselves, I feel like in Tabor are like more realistic and like small factors in the sense of like the MP5, for example. In Tabor, you have whenever the mechanism or the action, whatever you want to call it, locks in place,
Bolt.
classic slap. While in and you cannot reload a mag until that is locked back. While in contractors, that is not a thing. You can put in the mag whenever, you don't have to rack it, but you literally you can rack it. And I find that hilarious. But even if it's, and that's more quality of life because I hate the MP5 in real life, by the way, because I hate that feature. I hate the idea that oh, if I accidentally slap this down, now I have to
Fuck with it again. Yeah.
I went down again. It's like
Yeah.
the
Like
MP5 is a stupid gun, if you ask me. I blame the Brits, but I don't even know if they're the one that's made. But anyway, sorry, random tangent. But in contractors, yeah, they have the variety of ammo. They're now they have some gun interactions they need to fix, like and I'm not even blaming them. They're technically beta. They have an excuse for having problems.
yeah,
But
Exfil
like
Zone
AK,
is in alpha too. They have an excuse.
actually it's alpha. It's not even technically beta.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
alpha.
earlier than beta, so
And but as I was saying, like the AK rail not going on all AKs, even though it's meant to be a uniform thing, because the AK is a platform,
yeah,
not a
not a
specific
gun.
gun.
Yeah, it's platform. But like
And but they have so many interactions and so many, and they have what I talked about with one of my biggest problems with Tabor is variety, because in Tabor it feels so bland at times because
you see the same
you
gun over and
you see
over.
the same gun, you see the same mediocre loot and the same junk, and none of it has purpose. And you don't like. I've gotten to a point where I barely even grab any of the junk. At most, I'll grab attachments to make Karunas, but it's like you just don't feel it. It's so mediocre, and whenever you go when in four, I kind of feel like has let themselves kind of fall into a moment of modernity and not let themselves grow. While with contractors, they're like, no, we need to do everything because these people want a Tarkov experience, but we want to be our own thing. Because of course, because like one of my favorite things in Tarkov, it's stupid with how Tarkov does it, but I think contractors just breached the gap and made it better. Is finding the most stupid thing that's worth like million bucks. Oh, a tiny little golden elephant. Like selling it like in like literally in contractors that tiny golden elephant is like a million and a half
Yeah, it's like
in value, and I think that's hilarious. Or finding a teacup,
yeah, like
or and the funny quest, and I think the quests are really endearing because rather than be like what Tabor does, where it's find 10 of generic item and turn it in, which is going to take us too many raids. It's going to you have to do a multitude of raids to find like 10 A22 chest rigs. Well, who the
yeah,
fuck wants to do that? Who the hell wants to find 10 pilot helmets, 10 of that, and turn that in and just do that over and over again, the same quest? Because those are the tasks. And then when you get to the quest system, it's still a problem. It's like survive 10 Motka night raids. It's like, oh my god, I gotta do 10 of those things. Because I've been trying to get that last raid in for the past couple days, and it's so annoying. And don't get me wrong, I get better. I get that, but I just also been getting bad luck. I don't even want to talk about it. But that's such a like a stupid quest that you don't feel it, and it's not like you get any backstory in these quests. Like these people don't say, like the sellers don't say, "This is why I'm having you do this in this area at this
you
time."
kind of get a little bit of like
Get a
dialogue and
little.
personality from them, but you don't get like a oh I left my teacup in this house and I kind of want it back. Could you go get it, please?
I think that's hilarious, and with contractors, they've done it in an endearing way, and I like it. Almost every single type of quest, unless it's like a kill this many quest so far, has been something you can do in one raid as long as that's your goal. And
Yeah.
it will always give you the means of that goal. It's not like Tarkov to where you can pick up a quest and it's not guaranteed that that quest item is going to spawn at any given moment. They've made it to where as long as someone on the map has that quest, now multiple people can have that quest at the same time. That's when things get interesting. As long as someone on that map has that quest item will spawn that boss, like say someone has to kill that boss, that boss will spawn. It is a guarantee, and I like that. I think that breaches the gap of the stupidness of Tarkov, where you waste 50 minutes just so you don't find a stupid pocket watch in a crate or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it breaches that gap. And then with the task system, it's not annoying. It's literally go to this place, find this random trinket of mine, and then make it out alive with it and sell it back to me. Or, go view these locations to make sure they're okay. And that, by the way, what it does is it naturally gets you accustomed to the game. It's not just having you do some like stupid random thing.
It
It's giving you
introduces
things
you to
that,
the thing.
yeah, purposely gets you to be like, oh, I didn't know this little area was here. Oh, I didn't know I could go back here. Oh, cool. And it gets you used to being around these locations and looking for specific spots and being used to the idea of static spawns. And further than that, it gets you used to fighting bosses. It gets you used to finding spawns, knowing where things are, and knowing how to get to place. And the missions I just started getting is the tracker missions, where you go to find 3 specific loot crates and you mark them with a tracker for the guy, because he's like, oh yeah, I need to get these shipment containers, in order for my business and stuff. So can you please bring these tractors? I can sell for you for a small price because you're the one doing it, but don't die with these because you have to buy them again if you do, asshole.
Yeah.
He even says, hey, these things are expensive, don't.
Yeah.
But
But like,
tap those onto things or mark things with an X. It's endearing and it gives it life and matter, and I really enjoy that.
and it also like another thing, Exfil Zone's map is huge. All of the
In
maps are huge.
comparison,
Yeah, and like the biggest map is Island of Tabor, and that map I like Island, but
it's so
you have
confused.
like 3 hotspots, and then everything else is just you'll either A get killed from someone going between the hotspots, or you'll never see anybody there ever.
And everything outside, and say you just do the
Either you run
the,
into
the
everybody,
tactical play.
yeah.
Okay.
Either you run into everybody at the hotspot, or you run into nobody until you run into either everybody at the hotspot or nobody at the hotspot. Because either
Or you run into them on the way to the next hotspot, because
like
you could go to one of the surrounding areas and play tactically and tactfully, where oh, I'm going to minimize my losses and try to get quantity over quality, because obviously hotspots are going to have more
yeah,
quality, but you can get quantity by getting the outside areas. But unfortunately, the quality of that quantity sucks ass in all these surrounding areas. And just to get to the exterior areas that aren't hotspots, you basically have to go through the hotspots and interject the paths to the hotspots. So, like, for example, me and Vance the other day, we trying to get to orange card extract, which should be just easy, get there, not that bad. But you literally have to go right into the ass of labs, which, by the way, has a viewpoint from both other hotspots, prison that way and
radio
radio
the
that
other
way.
way. Yeah,
And we got killed by a dude with us. I think it was a spear.
yeah. I think he
Might
had a
have been.
spear.
We got killed by a dude with a spear just up that hill because he was coming from one hotspot to the next. While we're trying to go to something that's adjacent to a hotspot, we get
Just
that,
to
but
leave.
it's unavoidable. It's
Yeah,
completely unavoidable. And I get you should always have the risk of running into someone. That's kind of the point. And there's maps that are more condensed, which make that likelihood higher. Like in Exfil Zone, it's I forget the name.
mall. I think.
No, in Exfil Zone, it's the underground location, Metro. In Exfil Zone, it's Metro. It's condensed, it's hallways. Now, you still have like paths you can go that are least likely to run through people, but there's a good chance other people are running them. But that's because it's a condensed space. It's layers, it's floors. So the likelihood you run into somebody, even though that there's like only 6 players on that map, it's still a giant map, so it's not like guaranteed, obviously, and that's good.
Yeah,
While on Tabor, you are on the biggest map in the entire thing, and yet you pretty much always will run into players. And I'm not saying like I want to hunt for players on that map. That's not the issue. It's the fact that even when you're trying to do something that's not even like mundane, you're trying to do something mundane, and you still run into people.
yeah.
It's like like if I'm on suburbs in Exfil Zone and I want to go to some random barn house in the farm area, by all likelihoods, there shouldn't be someone within a mile of me.
Yeah.
That's up. There's a point to that, and it's a big map, so I can make up for area.
But yeah. I with that, I think I'm done ragging on Tabor.
Mhm.
Too bad. We are
Well,
coming up on 2.5 hours. Well, actually, we're over 2.5 hours.
mm,
Not that time is a big constraint, but we are starting to hit a wall of conversation. Um,
mm. I I think I know what I want to say to end this segment, and it's actually just about Exfil Zone, and because I think a lot of people are moving over to it, and I think it's setting a precedent that either Tabor follows or Tabor sinks.
yeah,
Exfil Zone has given, even in alpha, by the way, it is in a surprisingly finished state. It has its problems. I've had keys and stuff fall to the ground,
PC
but
PCVR is a different story. I will say
mm,
it crashes a lot more often for me. I black screen a lot.
mm,
It breaks my view to where like I'll look around and my whole screen is like jittering and like I'll stop moving, but like my view is like moving. It's really disorienting. It has problems it needs to fix, and I can't really describe it to you unless I show it to you. And I think I might have a few clips of it, but it's like
mm.
it is, but it is overall in a more refined state, and it obviously got bigger on Quest because it looks nicer on Quest too than Tabor does as well. Tabor had a little minor
and
graphical update, I think, but
And as I said, in alpha, to be more structured than a current day patch, Tabor is just embarrassing. Because in alpha, you expect there to be problems, and I go into every raid expecting some bullshit to happen.
right.
Like, yeah, I had a raid where I got a key for a good room for Exo Zone, and I was like, oh crap, but I had to rack a gun, and I didn't have a bag on me, so I was doing a stupid naked run, but and I had to put the key down to rack that gun because you need two hands. Unfortunately, I put the key down, fell through the map. I was like, oh, type shit. That's what I get for not bringing a bag, for one. And
Yeah.
two, okay, that's going to happen. If that's the worst thing that happens to me, okay, type shit. Now, I will say, to give a negative to Exfil Zone, something that I don't like about it, and I don't like about Kharkov in the same way, is armor.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I believe they've kind of made the TTK simultaneously too short and too long at the same time, and that's because of their penetration system. Unfortunately, it's just luck. There literally are so many fights that have been determined for me purely because I either got lucky or I got unlucky. I
Right.
mean, I literally went up to a guy. He was wearing like I think tier five. He's wearing tier five, and I was shooting a AK with a drum mag. I unloaded all 75 rounds without missing almost any into his chest and neck. Not a single one penetrated. Even though it's 7.62, a higher caliber round, that should have at least penetrated a few times out of
Right.
75. And then I went to another drum mag. Same story, 150 rounds in total, and I think I saw maybe 3 or 4 blood spatters indicating that it penetrated.
Right.
And that's so stupid. I get there's meant to be a durability system to make that not too problematic, but even then, it just seemed like I lost that fight. Because by the way, that guy that entire time was fumbling with his gun because he's like, "Oh crap, can't rack," and standing absolutely still. I was cheated purely out of luck, and also the hitboxes are kind of stupid because like in Tabor the hitboxes are a little bit better because like you killed Kurtek one time with a 22 because you
By
shot him through his
shooting him
eye hole,
through the eye, yeah, it's yeah.
and that's perfectly reasonable. You shot a dude in the brain, even though he's armored to the nines. You shot a
There was
guy
a
in the
weak
brain.
spot, and I hit him through the weak spot, and it killed him. That yeah, makes sense.
But unfortunately, the hitboxes for armor, I believe, in Exfil Zone are very forgiving. Like, say you're wearing what would be the equivalent of tier 4 plates of the Russian armor, like in Exfil Zone. I would shoot you in the arm, but somehow it still would count as hitting armor.
Yeah.
And like that makes no sense. And I think they need to kind of fix that. And I'm sure, once again, it's alpha, so this isn't like a oh don't play it complaint. This is like a observation. I hope they make it better because it's so stupid that I can unload 150 rounds into somebody of any caliber and they survive that encounter.
Yeah. But
So I think the TTK needs to be worked on. But otherwise they're going in a great path. It's going great. I love how you're able to put stuff on your bags. I think the loot is amazing. And I want more. I want to keep playing it. I want to keep enjoying it.
alrighty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is all we have for today.
Notice how I can't anything else to say.
Because I don't want you talking.
Yeah,
Um,
we need to stop.
yeah, we are. I'm not going to say unfortunately out of time because there is no time limit here, but We are out of time. Not really.
I'm
But
tired of it.
I'm tired of dealing with them. No, but I believe that is all we have to talk about this week.
He says that, but we're probably gonna be cursing each other out on For Honor here in a minute.
If you want to play For Honor, sure.
So,
But with that, that is everything we have to talk about. Hopefully, there will be more stuff, more uploads coming, more stuff like that. This is just meant to be a holdover stream while I kind of figure out some stuff. And of course, as we just vented, we have problems with Tabor right now. So we kind of are reluctant to play it, me especially. But there will be more content on the way. And with that, I've been your host. And I think I'll see you in the next one. Cole
And
won't be here.
Fuck you.
I'm removing him. He's being deleted.
And I've been your co-host, asshole. I've been your co-host, Cole, also known as Sci or Sci. I have a Twitch channel. Probably not going to touch it. I ain't gonna lie, but look out for me here in April. I'm planning to get my channel up under the same title, pseudonym, however you want to call it, here in April on YouTube. So
right. What you need to do is you need to start looking at more like the statistic stuff for the board and stuff, talking more about that and explaining that'd be a good type of guide video and stuff too. And you could probably do that with just PNGs and stuff. And if you need background footage, your boy will get you covered. Don't worry about it. Yeah, with that, we've been the host of the Sporadicast, the Sporadic podcast, and I believe we'll see you next time.
We will see you next.
You guys have a good one, and sleep well, insomniacs.